Hello. Hello. Oh, there is no BGM. Can you guys hear me? I think. Oh, hi, third party. How you doing? Hope the music is not too loud. We're gonna be listening to "It Came from the '80s," a retro dark wave horror synth Halloween special. All 8 of those. How you doing, third party? Welcome. Ghetto. Gonna be painting some Tyranids today. Here are my fingies. Should have probably trimmed my nails before. Okay, the music's just fine. That's good to hear. I'm gonna lower it a little bit for myself because it's a wee bit loud. It's kind of hard to focus. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some painting. Haven't done this in a hot minute, but hope no gloves. How indecent. Actually, some gloves, fingerless gloves, because it's still crazy cold in here. But yeah, you get to see my wrinkly skin. Unfortunately, it's dry. It's very, very dry and very cold in my apartment, which means that the skin is not doing so great. How indecent. Yeah, right? This is the color scheme. Don't ignore the blue and red. Ignore the blue and red. I very, very quickly slapped this on the model. I don't know if the color is easy to see. Actually, let me see if I can adjust the camera setting just a wee bit. Okay, so what if I go to contrast? Make that, oh boy. Okay, now let's not change the contrast too much. What about the brightness? Raise the brightness a little bit. Saturation, nah. This is good. Sharpness, I'm gonna have pretty sharp. White balance, this is the one that always messes me up. So the white balance, yeah, we wanna max, actually, white balance is kind of hard to figure out. Let's go with this one. So I have some lights on. I'm trying to look at the screen and see if things go out well. But yeah, I think this kind of yellowish screen for the skin looks decent, and the darker green for the armor plating might work. I slapped this together very fast. Now this dark blue here and red, I don't like it. It doesn't work that well. For a little moment, I was considering going red for the skin and dark blue for the plates, but I think that the skin, yeah, you can see I very quickly slapped this paint on a couple of days ago. I think in general, darker shades in general of the contrast paint, which is what I'm using, the Citadel contrast paint, which is, I have some of them back here. The voluptuous pink, for example, right here. Probably gonna catch a reflection or two of myself in these if I'm not careful. The darker shades really don't work that well when they're covering large detailed surfaces. I guess with Space Marines it doesn't really matter because most of the details you want to highlight with a different color. Doc stream, let's go, right? Yeah, we want to dox ourselves in this stream. But I think for something like a Tyranid, which has a lot of like flesh, having a darker blue flesh tone isn't gonna work that well. As far as I can tell. I have a couple of different. I don't have that many blues. I have a lot of different greens. So I'm gonna just put out all my greens here. Let's see here. We have green camo, striking scorpion green. This is the one I was using for the flash. Plague bearer green. Let's put these little guys on the side for now. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just put them all over here. I have some paper to dry things off. I had a wet palette once. Yeah, dark blue would actually work for Gene Stealers. Yeah, I can see that. But you would probably need to go over with like a light highlight or dry brush on the dark blue, just to make sure that you can get like the silhouettes of muscles and stuff popping. Because if you just go like dark blue wash, it gets even darker in the crevices, which means it just doesn't really stand out. I mean, I haven't checked this in natural daylight, but for me, it's a little bit too dark. I really do like the kind of greenish, light green. The Plague Bearer flesh really works well with the skin of these guys. I also have the Agorous Dunes, which I think is a yellow or brown. And I have Dark Angel Green. I have 2 Dark Angel Greens because I'm dumb. Not using the occult tag. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I should probably add that too. Yeah, I was thinking we could pardon me. We could chat a little bit about occult stuff as well. There we go. Occult added. And let's add 40k for good measure. And Tyranids. Tyranids. I don't know how many tags you can use on your stream, but okay, it's not really registering. Okay, never mind. This is Dreadful Visage, so not gonna use that one. But yeah, I have a pair of that cough. Yeah, I'm dying. My life force is escaping. Save the world, my final message. I am wearing a pair of magnifying glasses that look very ridiculous on me right now. So if I'm making a weird expression, it's because the camera can't see what I'm doing. So I'm probably gonna look like I have my eyes closed the whole stream. But yeah, this is probably gonna be the green we'll go for. Something like this. Now, I've heard of something called a smash chop or a smack chop or a chop smash or whatever it's called, which is this painting style where you like highlight the model first. You go with like black, chop smash, smash chop, something like that. You highlight, you spray paint a model black, and then you highlight it with like white or gray, and then you use contrast paints to immediately get a pretty good look. I don't think you have to use contrast paints, but at least the whole like quick highlight with the dry brushes. I think dry brushing the scales on these guys actually look really good. So dry brushing, in case you're unfamiliar, is when you dip your brush into a lot of paint, and you want to have a lot of bristles on that kind of brush, like this one for example. This is not a dry brush. This is a large base coat brush. But if you use one of these and you just basically dry it off on paper until there's barely any pigments left, and then you very like roughly do this on the model. Maybe I should turn on the audio of the camera so you can hear little brush strokes. But do this, and the whatever pigments you have left will be caught on edges. So it gives you a pretty easy way to do edge highlighting, which doesn't always look really good. I remember Games Workshop used to be like, yeah, if you want to paint Dark Angels, they use the Dark Angel Space Marines as a good example of doing a dry brush, because they dry brush Dark Angel green on black. It didn't really look that good in my opinion, but that's really neither here nor there. I think I have like a, yeah, this is a tank brush. It's a very old one. It's been seen some use, but this is a good dry brush too. It's very big and it's kind of soft too. You want to have a soft brush, it doesn't get stuck on stuff too much. The bristles aren't too hard. Here's an actual dry brush, I think, over here. Really hard to catch something in focus with this, but there you have it. So we're just gonna hang out, just gonna have fun and do a little bit of painting, a little bit of trolling. Kind of feeling, I'll be honest, haven't really been feeling the greatest today. I had a work from home day today, but I didn't get a lot of work done. I had some really bad nightmares. This is a shade brush actually. This is a very big shade brush. With possibly some cat hair on it, I'm not entirely sure. But this is for like shading really big stuff. But I had some really weird nightmares involving basically. So you used to work in retail, right? Yeah, Polybius, I agree. This seems to be going around. I used to work in retail and I absolutely hated it. Retail is not for me, right? And that was before I started working with my current job. And I keep having recurring nightmares whenever I'm stressed that I will be going back to working in retail, that I get tricked into working retail. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want that. I really don't want that. So I'm those are the worst kind of dreams. Okay, so this little guy, we're gonna paint his we're gonna paint his armor first before we get onto the flesh. Because what I'm thinking is something I noticed with this guy is that I was being pretty careful with the brush strokes, which means pretty large areas were not painted. I mean, the gun obviously did not get painted, but like if you look under him, there's a lot of white spots where I didn't paint. Most of this was because I wanted to try the colors. Yeah, retail is awful. I salute every retail worker out there. They are suffering, so I don't have to. I always kind of think that you can sort of judge a person based on how they act towards retail workers. Retail people, technically you don't have any reason to be nice to someone working retail, because it's not like they can be mean to you back. So like you're in an ultimate power situation there. So if you act like an absolute asshole to retail workers, I think that says a lot about who you are as a person. I mean, not you guys specifically, but like the general you. I try to always sort of not get in the way, because I know from experience that their job is stressful enough as it is. It's not very high, not very well paying. It's not a very relaxing job. I'm looking at the camera while doing this, and that's not great. So I'm gonna be looking at the model itself. But I'll be looking up at the chat every now and then. But yeah, so I was thinking, what I wanted to do with this guy is that I want to have a slightly lighter green on the close to the edges, and a darker green on the top to sort of show that the plating has organically grown out, and that it's generally darker before it gets lighter, right? It gets more brittle. That's the word. Closer to the edge of the armor. So I'm gonna give that a try. Let's give this little fella. How about we start with Hex Wraith Flame? This is a pretty light green, but it's a very intense, very high pigment green. I like those. I like high pigment colors in general. I'm not much for muted colors in general. I like things to be very stark and stand out. I think I shook this enough. I'll shake it a little bit more just in case. So a while back, I converted a couple of years back, a lot of my paints into dropper bottles that I bought of Amazon. It was a big mistake because they all dried out. I spent a lot of money on those, so I'm just keeping them in the little bottles they come with right now. Citadel, their bottles have gotten slightly better over time. I'm gonna give them that. So, especially with contrast paints, I don't really feel like you need to do that. However, I think there's something with the camera where it's like compensating for darkness and stuff, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna see camera control. Yeah, exposure. We're gonna. Ooh boy. Yeah, we want to have it at like -5, I guess. If you get -6, we get these weird lines going across the screen. Let's go with exposure -5. I think this is good. Not a lot of exposure. Okay, so I have a medium shade brush here. Flashbang, yeah. I'm just gonna kind of go crazy on this little guy here. I'm just gonna see. So contrast paints, I'm actually a big fan of them. Oh, hold on, let me put on my magnification goggles. Here we go. You gotta be close to my nose though. Okay, so now you probably won't be hearing me quite as well because hold on, let me angle the microphone just a little bit because I'm gonna be looking at this model here for a little bit. I always kind of prefer black base coats when I'm painting. I also have really shaky hands. I don't know if you guys can tell, which is actually one of the reasons I sort of stopped painting in general. I used to paint a lot more, but my hands are really shaky. I don't know what it is. It's possible it's just some kind of tension thing. So I always sort of struggle with painting in general, because especially now with the camera where it is, I kind of don't. It's a little bit muffled. Look at it, that's good. With the camera being where it is, I can't really put my hands together the way I usually do when I paint, which gives me a little bit of stability. So I'm trying very hard not to like shake too much. But yeah, this green is a wee bit light. So actually, it might be a low pigment paint now that I think about it, because it's not really covering the base coat that well. So I'm just gonna smash on a lot more green here. But yeah, I was gonna talk a little bit about occult stuff. I was gonna talk about orcs, all kinds of stuff here. So I really am super into the occult. I was chatting a little bit with Allium a while back, Allium Fungus. She's really cool. She's an alien fungi, if you didn't know, alien fungus. I've always been kind of fascinated with aliens and monsters and like body horror and generally occult things as well. I'm not super into ghosts. I think ghosts are kind of like I think they're like your entry level occult stuff. I'm more into demons. I'm more into like I really like, if I was like the Judeo-Christian kind of, I don't want to say mythology, but like the sort of more complex idea about the hierarchy of angels and like demons and evil. Like I think demons is a little bit of a misleading term. It's oh, thank you for the soak. Hi, Matasha, thank you. I'm gonna drink some water. Aliens are pretty entry level. I agree with you. Yeah, aliens I do feel are like, a lot of people buy into aliens. They're very mainstream, and a lot of times it's like, oh, aliens are doing this or aliens are doing that. Like there's a conspiracy about this, and I'm kind of an Occam's razor sort of guy. Okay, so I'm a skeptic. I've always been kind of a skeptic when it comes to stuff like that. I want to try things out on my own. I don't necessarily believe in something unless I can see, like, I'm really bad at believing, I guess. I'm very much like, yeah, I want to see some evidence for it. Oh, your head pad redeem. I'm sorry, I didn't notice. Hold on, let me get the activity feed up. Okay, we're gonna go a head pad. Hold on, I'll put the head pad on my model. There we go. I'll just keep it on my model because I can't really keep track of time now. But yeah, I really do struggle a lot with believing things in general. Let me just get this brush a little bit wet. So I have a really bad habit of licking my brushes. I like to use my mouth to sort of make the brush pointy. It's not very good. It's better than it used to be, because I'll tell you, Citadel paints at one point were not good for you. They were not good for you. They had a lot of stuff in them that was not very healthy. But these days they're pretty okay, as far as we know. But I really shouldn't be doing. Oh, that's a lot of paint I got on the brush right now. I feel like, yeah, this paint definitely is a very light green, which I can appreciate. It's okay. It's not the kind of green I thought it would be, to be honest. Just for good measure. Thank you. Oh, I had Pat. Thank you. I'm gonna see if I can sort of get this right. I'm gonna have to go over the base coated areas that will be painting a different color with another. Yeah, this. I don't think you can see very well what I'm doing. I'm sorry. The camera's really bad at focusing. I'm using a 980. I think they're called, like an old webcam, a Logitech. I'm not a fan of Logitech in general. I think they have unrightly infiltrated and taken over the webcam market a lot. And I mean, they're affordable, but they're not good by any standards. But like I said, I would love to believe, like I would love to believe in the power of the mind and like. You know, just generally have like a supernatural belief. I would like to believe that I can commune with spirits beyond all those kind of things, but unless I can experience it, I have a very skeptical approach to it. When people tell me about these things, I'm very much like, yeah, I'll listen. I mean, I don't judge people. Actually, kind of envious of people who can just wholeheartedly be like, yeah, you know, I talk to ghosts. I talk to spirits, but I mean, I'm not gonna Logitech hate. Absolutely, Natasha, you're so right. Logitech hate. But I mean, I'm not like I'm skeptic. I don't believe in it at all. Hold on, give me just a second. Hold on, my cat wanted to jump down from sleeping place. Believe in a lot of crazy things you guys will come to learn. I mean, it's also like how do you define belief? I do believe that the human mind has a lot more power than we'd like to give it credit for. I definitely think humanity is the pinnacle of creation. I love animals. I think we have vastly underestimated animal intelligence. And I mean, I don't think that's a hot take. But generally, I believe that no animals are even remotely close to our level of understanding of ourselves and of the world around us. And I mean, you can just look at nature and be like, yeah, I mean, obviously. But I do feel like animals tend to get a short end of the stick. And they tend to be like kind of either ignored or used for a lot of heinous bad stuff that I don't get. Yeah, we had the placebo effect. Yeah, exactly. Like you can definitely the placebo effect has been proven. Like the power of your mind is great. Like you have a lot more control over your body than you think. And I mean, I've seen that, for example, there's you have like, I think it is 100,000 or 10,000. I mean, 100,000 sounds more realistic. Brain cells in your stomach. Neurons, rather. I think they're called neurons, right? That help you control your very, very, very complex digestive system, which of course you're not even consciously aware of you're doing. Animals are cool, but humans are literally made to emulate divinity. Yeah, I mean, like, we have so much more than animals do. I think animals can absolutely suffer. I think animals have emotions. I think animals can aspire to a certain degree, but I don't think they can aspire quite the same way that humans do. I don't think they can stop and be like, hey, wait a minute, why am I doing this? And I mean, from one perspective, I'd argue that means they're less intelligent. From another, I think they're also more in tune with their own nature. And I think if I'm going to give animals anything, I would say they're absolutely more in tune with their own nature than most humans are. They're way more close to their id, or whatever you want to call it, than humans are. We are often so controlled by our super ego, pardon me, not super id. That would be a horrifying thing. We're so much more controlled by our super ego than we like to believe. And whatever form you believe the super ego takes, whether it's as God or if it's the law or science or anything really, I do think that we have sort of neglected our intuitive natural intelligences in favor of a more standardized approach to things. And I think it's just kind of a symptom of the time we live in general. We're very good at, like, I personally dislike religion very much. I dislike religion because religion to me is a pre-made set of ideas that you can adhere to. And religion to me feels like a kind of a cheap way to get in on like a bunch of things. You can like let's say you're born into the Christian congregation, for example. You're taught a bunch of things, a bunch of stuff about how things work, and those things are presented to you. Can be presented to you as facts. You don't come to this conclusion necessarily of your own. And if you that's why I think, for example, like an adult baptism is cool, because you can like, yeah, I'm an adult, I'm a consenting adult, and I've come to the conclusion that I believe in this, so I want to like commit myself to it. I think that's great. But like baptizing children into it, not that I think it's evil or anything. I absolutely don't think it's an evil thing to do, but I think it's like kind of misguided in the sense that all you're doing, I mean, it's like I feel like it's more for the parents than for the kid, if you know what I mean. Hold on, what did I screw up here? Okay, I'm just adding some more wraith bone to the model now, because yeah, I'm gonna move the microphone a little bit. My hand does not fit between the camera and the microphone. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Oh my god, I think I might have just snapped something. I didn't. Okay, hold on. Might have disconnected the camera just slightly. I mean, not the camera, the microphone. Okay, I gotta roll my chair a bit closer, gotta move all these cables. I have an absolute, based on what I'm studying, a religion is a belief, not a belief system. The system we have are kind of a just filter. I mean, that's why I'd make a distinction between religion and belief. Belief is personal, religion is an organization, it's an institution. It's a bunch of pre-made ideas that you either, like, you can, I mean, depending on which religion you belong to, there's a different level of permission for criticizing it, or for questioning it. And I think that living in Sweden, I'm very lucky in the sense that, well, lucky and unlucky, because obviously we're not a very religious country in that sense, and a lot of stuff I don't really know that might be absolutely natural stuff that people grew up learning. Whereas I do, however, have the advantage of like even our state religion, which is not state religion anymore. We don't have a state religion, I believe. Is very like self-reflective. I think self-reflection and like considering your own ideas. I think in general, and this is I think a healthy approach to anything is to question, like, why do I believe the things I believe? What is my motivation for believing this? Like, why, or what is my motivation for holding these values? I'm not like a Nietzsche kind of guy who goes, yeah, you know what, morality is all, it's all in our head. I mean, I guess I'm sort of like that. Like I don't necessarily believe that there's a universally right way to do things all the time. But I also strongly believe, like for example, I don't have the right to take someone else's life. I'm very anti-death penalty in general, and I don't believe in an eye for an eye at all. Now, that being said, I don't have kids. I don't have anyone who's been killed by anyone else. So that's just a theoretical position I'm holding. I have no idea how I'd feel about things if, say, my mom got like brutally murdered or whatever. If that was the case, I would probably maybe reevaluate my beliefs a little bit. And I mean, it's been tested at times. Like I absolutely cannot abide people who harm defenseless people who harm the defenseless, whether it be children, whether it be animals, the infirm. You know, we managed to become a society because we took care of our weak. We took care of our hurt. We saved each other. I strongly believe that humanity can never. God, I don't believe humanity can ascend, if that's a term. I don't believe humanity can transcend itself if we don't hold strongly to those values. That's what got us where we are. And I mean, there's always going to be individuals who are power hungry. There's always going to be individuals who will put their own good before others. Noticing that I'm missing some paint on some scales here. I'm not very familiar with the Tyranid models. So the first one is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would, because I'm just kind of making sure that I dotted my I's and crossed my T's, so to speak. Let me get the green out again. Like I said, I had a wet palette before, but it's dried out, and I don't know where the extra sheets are. So I'm using an ice cream lid as a mixing palette, basically. So it's going a little bit slower than I would have wanted it to. Actually, I'm gonna take off these stupid goggles because I'm not wearing them anyway, because it really limits my perception. So I mean, I can take off this warm cap too. But generally, yeah, I believe that the only way humanity can move forward is as a body. I do not believe that the individual is capable of doing it themselves. Okay, hold on. Is that actually going to be scaled or not? No, it's not scaled. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna put them here for now. Looks way darker on the camera than it does in real life, but I'm gonna go over with another layer of green. I'm gonna wash it out a little bit with a medium, and I'm just gonna add some more darker green to this armor here, which is kind of. I am very bad at thinning my paints, as if you're a professional painter or if you watch someone who's good at painting might notice. I suck at thinning my paints, which is why I really like the the contrast paints, because they don't really require that a lot. Let me know again if the music is too much, or if I'm not loud enough, or if I need to boost anything. Okay, let's see here. Now the question is, do I want to have this green for the hooves? And my stomach is telling me like, no, I don't want that. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use it for the armor only. And I'm just kind of wondering if I should go with bone. I should go with bone white for the hooves. Yeah, you know what? I painted over a lot of flesh and turned that green, so I'm gonna have to go over it with the wraith bone, which is this is the same color that is used in the wraith bone spray, which is kind of like the sort of base coat spray you use for contrast paints, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I figured this. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Parts of the body don't really look like they should have that. Okay, I'm seeing a dot of white now. That needs to be a little bit more green. There we are. This is my painting process in a nutshell. I am very picky. actually stopped painting for the longest time because I'm sort of a perfectionist. I don't really feel happy with anything I do. I'm the guy who's sort of like the glass is half empty. So I'm a biggest critic. If I get criticized for something, I will internalize that and I will turn it against me. I'm my own worst enemy. So painting is like a horrible. God, my hands are shaking so much. Might have to start painting off the camera, to be honest, because this is okay. Well, we got it. Also, there you go. I think we've gotten the armor decently painted. I'm gonna start painting the limbs, and then I'm gonna. Well, you will get old. Don't think of humanity as a whole. Usually, whoa, Twitch just screwed you over. Hold on. Well, you will get told. Don't think of humanity as a whole, but usually it's fruitful. Hypothetically too. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll let you retype that. Sorry. Yeah, Twitch is being weird. But yeah, I mean, movies like Dune, for example. I think Dune is a really good. Like, you can look at Dune as sort of like a hypothetical future for humanity, and what I think that the Dune stories do really well. I've only read the first one, mind you, so maybe that changes later. But what I like about Dune is that Dune paints up a very realistic and very cynical sort of future for humanity, with like the Bene Gesserit, who have planted the idea of the Bene Gesserit, I think. No, I don't remember the nuns. They basically planted the idea of the of a Messiah in literally every culture of humanity, which means that the rich people can use that. It's an extremely Bene Gesserit, and then we have the Netzach Haderach, I think is Yetzach Haderach or Netzach Haderach, was this like the idea of the Messiah that they planted into these all these different civilizations. So should the noble families get into trouble, they can like pretend to be the Messiah or call themselves that and show it to these cultures, and then will be protected by them, which I think is like a perfect idea, but it's also such a cynical thing, because it takes this idea of a belief in a higher power and a savior, a Messiah, and it just absolutely twists it into something really mean-spirited, really cynical, or rather more like exploitative, I guess you'd call it. But I do like Dune, and I like the Harkonnen. They're my favorite family. I guess that says everything about me. I like the name, Harkonnen. It's Finnish, and I like the. I mean, they were rightly so. They had the planet stolen from them, taken from them, unjustly so, by the Emperor, given to the Atreides. It is a good book. It's a good book. It's a really good movie too. If you like, if you're watching and you haven't read Dune, watch Dune, and then read Dune, in that order. I always suggest reading a book, watching a movie before reading a book, because if you read the movie and then watch the book, if you read the book and then watch the movie, you tend to get a little bit disappointed, in my experience. But yeah, I mean, Frank Herbert put a lot of thought and effort into his book. I haven't studied it in terms of occult reflections like that. I would admit I'm still very much a newbie to occult teachings in general. I'm very interested in the Hermetic and the Ars Goetia, or the Lesser Keys of Solomon. I very much like. I'm reading the 3 books of magic by Agrippa. I'm also reading the Hermetica at the moment, and I'm also going to study Egyptian gods quite a bit. And they're like, because there's you can trace sort of Urscutia, yeah, it's really nice. It's cool. The problem I have with Urscutia is that you have to create this kind of massive serpent thingy. That's like your summoning. I mean, that's your like initial tool. It's really difficult to make. I'm not very good at crafting things in general, so it's been a little bit discouraging to look into that. I'm using the small base brush right now to paint, which is probably not the best one. I'm gonna go in with the Plague Bearer Flesh right now. And actually, you know what? Let's see what happens. What color is Agoros Dunes? I need to check this again. If it's yellow, I might go over the green with this and see what kind of funny, wacky effects. No, this is like a brown. I don't want to use that. Maybe use that for hooves and blades, I guess. If it's a light brown, that would be pretty neat. Make it look like a bone. Creed Camo. I feel like Creed Camo is probably really dark. Yeah, man, this is a really dark, dense green. How about, do I have any other greens? I have Apothecary White. Some metal, skeleton. Nah, I don't really have any other greens. So let's go with the Dark Angel green and just use a very small amount of it with this. But I also read, whoa. First incident. Okay, well, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Let me just kind of think about how to deal with this situation. Okay. It's fine. I have 2 Dark Angel greens. This is destiny. Hi, Ice Fox. How you doing? Yeah, this could have gone a lot worse. It's moving very slowly towards my desk, so I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna gather up most of the paint, or at least the overflow here with the paper. It's all good. This is what I get for not being careful. I'm gonna very carefully put this in the trash so I don't get green all over the place. Oh, I got green on the floor. Give me a second, it dripped. Yeah, this is no good. No good. Okay. Oh boy. I have to go over this with some cleaning fluid later on. That's all good. It's all good. No problemo. I'll get some green on my chair too. Man, this painting is serious business. No, that wasn't green. That was just trash. Okay. Let's just get rid of all this drip here. I mean, what's a painting stream without a little bit of accident, right? Some green on my fingies. Work posting green is best. I mean, you know what, third party? You have a point there. Green is best. I love green. Green is the color of love. No wait, green is. I don't. There's a song somewhere in there. I don't quite remember it. Man, this is gonna take a lot of paper. But yeah, I think I was reading The Unfortunes, the Mystical Kabbalah, a little while back, and she's pretty cool. I'm interested in the Golden Dawn, the Rosicrucian kind of approach to Hermetic magic. There's a lot of implementation of like Greek and especially Egyptian symbolism. I'm a little bit scatterbrained right now because I'm drying this up. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I didn't get anything on my desk, which I'm pretty happy with. But yeah, we're gonna have to dry this up. Rip overly expensive paint. They charge like $5 for one of these, $5 or $6. It's ridiculous. Not as much as you'd pay for. Like, okay, so Tyranids are not exactly the most expensive models point-wise, right? Like these gaunts that I'm painting right now, they're worth nothing. Yet still, you only get 11 models for like $32, or even if it was more, I don't remember. So they're making a mad buck. Look at my thumb here, nice. They're making a buck from these models, and I'm the sucker who keeps buying them. Okay, well, we have a nice little green patina here now on the desk. Let's go over with a little bit of dark green and see if we can, like, I gotta mix it a little bit. I want to mix it with a medium, to be honest, to get it a little bit more runny. Yeah, I'm gonna mix this. Hold on, I got a bigger brush. Actually, no, let me just drop some medium over here. But the Kabbalah is, I mean, that's your basic. If you're gonna get into occult stuff, you want to learn the Tree of Life. You want to learn the Sephras, Kether, Chokma, Bina, Dath, Chesed, Gebura, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malkuth, and maybe the Clifoth too. I think it's called the Clifoth. I don't think it's called the Clifoth. It's Clifoth, right? That's like your. I think most Western occult schools will, some degree or another, implement the Kabbalah or the Tree of Life. It's a very good framework to sort of start your understanding, because a lot of like astrology, a lot of alchemy, a lot of that sort of stuff is going to be very closely tied to, well, not tied, but can be drawn parallels to the Kabbalah as well.
This is classic.
Yeah, this is nice. This is nice. I like it. Kleepot. Oh, Kleefoth. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard all kinds of different pronunciations of it, but Kleefoth is how I was. Or Kleefoth is probably closer to it. I'm not exactly well read up on Hebrew. I wouldn't know, but the Kleefoth is like the inverse Tree of Life. I mean, then you also have the 4 realms of the Tree of Life. There's a lot of depth to it. It really depends on which school of belief you look into and like what it tells you about these things. But yeah, I think the Mystical Kabbalah is a pretty decent book to start with if you want to learn about it, because I think Fortune does a pretty good job of not being too up her own ass about it. A lot of occult scholars, especially the early 1900s, were a little bit up their own ass about these kind of things, and sometimes you're gonna have to like filter opinion from fact a lot. Now, of course, she's pretty colored in her opinions as well, considering the time she was alive and all that. But I feel like she gives a decent introduction to it all, and she says as much that like obviously a lot of it is up to how you work with it. Oh, the shells to encompass part of the tree. Yeah, there's different ways to look into the Kleefoth. I'm not very read up on it. I know that the Cult, the role-playing game, uses them to kind of represent the evil forces in the world. I don't think it's necessarily that simple. I don't really... Like, again, like, haven't done much study in the Kabbalistics, but I'm currently learning a lot about, like, alchemical processes, looking at the Rubedo... no, it's Albedo Negredo Rubedo, I believe, is the chemical process of burning something. No, Albedo is the final product, right? It starts out as Negredo, which is like the rot, the black sort of rotten death decay, and then you burn it with Rubedo, and then once the fire has passed, you're left with the white. You're left with the ash, which is the Albedo. It's kind of the alchemical principle in general, the purification of material. Oh, the yellow one. Oh yeah. I mean, if you wanna, I would assume that's also like correlated to the 4 elements. Because no, yellow is the color of air, of wind. So black would be the color of earth. Blue, well, I guess blue isn't in there, so maybe it's not element related. Yeah, you know what? This is not bad. We're gonna let that dry for a little bit and see what happens. Rubedo is perfect, actually. Rubedo is the color scarlet. Oh, vermilion. Oh, okay. I thought that Albedo was like the end product with the ash. You know, you learn something new every day. But yeah, I have a bunch of books I haven't been able to read yet. I have the Meditations on the Tarot, for example. I'm very into the tarot cards. I love doing tarot card readings because I like tarot because I consider them something similar to Rorschach tests, as in you read what you need to read in them, or your subconscious mind, or whatever you want to call it, works through the tarot cards. Negredo, Albedo, Rubedo. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. No, you know, that makes sense. But yeah, like tarot cards are obviously, like, I like to say that they're just cards, right? Oh yeah, it does. You have the 22 paths of the Yeah, of the Tree of Life. The 22 paths that connect all the Sephira are all named after the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And then you have, each one of them also represents one of the major arcana in the Tarot, like you said. And then you have the 10 Sephira, which each represent one of the 10 values of the minor arcana. Yeah, it's super neat. It's a very well thought out system. And like this kind of correlates with what I was talking about earlier, like my belief in the power of the mind. I believe that we are way more intuitive and understanding of ourselves and the world around us than we are led to believe. A lot of times, I like science. I'm a big fan of science, but a lot of times the idea we have of science and understanding is that you have to study it for a long time. You have to be good at it. You have to have good grades. You got to do all this kind of studying to understand these things, and I don't necessarily think that's always a good approach to things. See, this green here is nice. It's going to give it kind of a sickly green, which works well with my frog theme that I want to go for. Now, I am absolutely not calling science bullshit, and I am absolutely not calling universities bullshit. I like them. I'm not a big fan of academia, but mostly academia as in the humanities, because what I saw when I studied to become a teacher was not very impressive. Now that might just be where I studied, so I shouldn't put too much credence into that. But I do believe the funding determining results. Yeah, I mean, I believe that absolutely to a certain degree with science, you're dependent on other factors to finance your studies. Like I trust a lot of science in the sense that if you can replicate the results, that's a good start. But I have way more faith in science than I do in people who sell tarot readings, people who sell not that I'm saying those people are bullshitting, but like magnetic therapy, aura readings. Like there is a lot of bullshittery going on around there. Which is why I like texts like the Ars Goetia, which is like, yeah, this is how you do it. And it's like, okay, yeah, either it works or it doesn't work, but at least someone's going to sit down and be like, yeah, I believe in this enough that I'm going to give you the method. That's what I like about it. Cavendish Banana and the Crystal Palace? I have not, actually. First time I'm hearing about it. Cavendish Banana? Never heard of that. But yeah, I believe that alchemists were the scientists of their time, that they were working with methods that they tried to reproduce and prove, and it's just that their reasoning for a lot of things was flawed because they did not have the understanding of certain things that we have now. Well, that being said, I'd vastly prefer a world where this kind of knowledge is shared openly, and it's not like, ooh, when you have a deeper understanding of it, i.e. when you bought my 10-step program, you'll truly see the light. Because that's also like exploiting people's kind of subconscious desire to fit in and also to commit to things they paid money and time for. Like it's way harder to drop something you spent a long time doing, right? Like a lot of people struggle with like, yeah, I spent most of my life playing college football in my youth. So people are going to play college football, and then they're going to be obsessed with when they played college football way into their adulthood when it doesn't even matter anymore, because it's like a formative memory, it's a commitment, it's something we spent a long time doing. So I strongly believe that if you can't access information freely, it's not information worth having. I do understand, of course, lots of grifters. Yeah, tarot, lots of grifters. A lot of people are going to grift you. And tarot is basic human psychology in a nutshell. It's about listening to your stomach. It's about listening to your gut. And that's kind of what I was thinking about when I said the whole thing, like human body has 100,000 brain cells in our stomach. I didn't just throw that out as like a fun little factoid, but rather I do believe that there are parts of our body and parts of our minds that we just don't understand yet. Like I am lividly waiting for the day when we can put our brains into machines and be like, yeah, I'm gonna be a machine. I'm gonna live forever. I'll be frank with you. Living forever should be everyone's goal, or at least having the ability to live forever. We should master death. That should be humanity's collective goal, which is something we're working towards. We're absolutely working towards preventing all manners of early death, not exactly easily accessible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you, but that's why I don't like a lot of the occult world, and I get it. A lot of people go like, yeah, you know, you shouldn't have this, you shouldn't put dynamite in the hands of a baby, right? And okay, I get that argument, but it's also like, whenever someone says, oh, you know, you'll understand once you're ready, I'll be like, yeah, okay, when will I be ready? Can I check off a list? Can you give me a list so I can like go do my due diligent research on my own? And then when I can prove to you that I'm ready, give me the stuff, you know. I'm not gonna pay you a bunch of money so you can teach me what I need to know to be ready. I don't like that. I think it makes me suspicious. I say that much. So much false info. Yeah, and then you got people like Crowley, right? Who at least allegedly just planted a bunch of false information all over the place for the lulz, you know. Oh, so only the enlightened can truly understand the truth behind. Like, fuck you, man. Which is like, also, if your goal is the transcendence of humanity or whatever, then it makes literally no sense. Then you're literally going, well, humanity doesn't know its own good. I know what's good for humanity. Like, fuck you, man. That's grifter talk right there. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of what do you want to call them? What's the term they use in Changeling? People who aren't magically inclined or whatever, muggles, I guess, whatever. That have a really good head on their shoulder and they'll understand way more about this intuitively than I do. Yeah, man, I do not like Crowley. I'm the beast. Yeah, whatever. Go climb your mountains and die. Okay, that's a little bit rough, but Crowley, not a fan. I'm okay with what's his name? Israel Regardier. I think he's fine. I didn't like Garden of Pomegranates that much because it presented a very non-holistic presentation of Kabbalah without really highlighting that it was lacking critical information. But I mean, Kabbalah is also like, it's such a broad concept that yeah, it's really up to a lot of people on how you choose to interpret it. Like a student of Wicca. Picture of Rena crying. What the fuck is going on? We're talking about the occult. We're talking about one of my side interests, one of my side projects. I really am a big fan of the occult. I've only started taking it seriously recently. A lot of times I've been very disillusioned with it. I played Cultist Simulator. That's really what kickstarted my interest in the occult. Cultist Simulator is a very well-made game. Like, it's obviously all made up, but then so is all forms of human worship of the divine. But that doesn't mean that it's not real, if that makes any sense. It just means that it's real to a certain degree. I mean, taking the cult seriously is maybe not the right way of saying it. It's just that I am testing it. Like, you weren't here early. I said, I strongly believe in the idea that I should be able to prove something. So if something is being withheld from me without a really good reason, and it's just like, just trust the process, bro, I'd be like, no, well, you know what, fuck you. If you're gonna be shrewd about it, then I'll find my knowledge elsewhere. Thank you very much. I'm not gonna sit down in a cave for 30 years and study something because you think I'm not ready for it. I'm gonna go summon demons, and there's nothing you can do about it. Not that I'm gonna summon demons, mind you, but at some point I might try. And it's like, I mean, I have a healthy respect for that. I'm not just gonna go do all these crazy rituals, but like, there's no way you can do the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, and accidentally summon something, right? That's never gonna happen. Kabbalah. Oh yeah, I mean, there's there's different kinds of Kabbalah. There's Christian Kabbalah, there's Jewish Kabbalah, there's I guess you'd call it Hermetic Kabbalah. But I mean, if you were a student of Wicca, you would probably encounter Kabbalah as well, but that would be a Wiccan interpretation of Kabbalah. So it's all like, it's a framework. I really like the way that the Unfortunate phrases it, that Kabbalah is not necessarily the best system or the only system. It is a system that is very, very good to use as a framework to hang your occult studies on, because it works with a lot of things. You know what? It makes sense, right? But you might as well use, like, if you have some other school of thought that you think is more applicable to the way you do things, there's nothing stopping you from using it. I don't think the Kabbalah is the end all key to understanding the universe. It's a key to understanding the universe. Just like I don't believe that Freemasonry is necessarily the only way of, like, obviously it's not, because you've had enlightened people all over the world, and I mean, unless you're going to start saying that the Tibetan monks are Freemasons, which kind of based, if true, there's a bunch of different ways of sort of getting more in touch, unlocking your brain, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's just that the Unfortunate says it really well, that she calls the Kabbalah the Western yoga, because it's a system that works really well with our way of life, our lifestyles. You're a Bible purist. I mean, that's absolutely. I'm more of a First Testament kind of guy. I like the I don't know the English name for it. Is the St. John's Evangelium? What's it called? That starts with, in the beginning there was light, the word, and the word was light. That one, I really like that one. Okay, so gotta say, really like this look. Really like this look, actually. I think this is great, right? Genesis starts there. Yeah, the Gospel of John. Yeah, the Gospel of John. That's the only chapter you need in the Bible, baby. I'm not reading the Old Testament. Jesus didn't die on the cross so you would be reading the Old Testament. You have a New Testament to follow. Everything else is just history lesson. I like Apocrypha. Hi Colin. Hi L Colin Q. It's a book, it's not a chapter. Look, I'm ESL. You must, everything I make is a mistake. You must excuse that because I'm ESL. Actually, he did die. Look, all you need is your own relationship with God. You don't need a church. You don't need a priest. You don't need nothing. You find your own way. And literally every part of his body was a prophecy from the Old Testament. That's true. But you don't need to follow anything in the Old Testament. Like, a lot of people will pick and choose from the Old Testament what they like and what they don't like. You don't gotta, like, if you do, you'd be like, oh yeah, people turn into salt if they're evil. Like, I consider the Old Testament God understanding how to be God, if that makes any sense. Unless you're circumcised. You know. Yeah, that's true. But to each your own. Okay, yeah, I'm liking the brown hoofs. Does this work? Does this work? Should I make it another color? Like the light brown hoof? Nah, it doesn't stand out. It doesn't stand out, does it? Let me hold this guy up. Doesn't really stand out, right? It's a little bit too similar to the green. Let's wait until that dries and cover it up and repaint it. But yeah, this is a good color scheme, right? What do you guys think? I'm trying to move out of the way. I'm just thinking of what to put on the bony part and the blades. And then the gun, we had to think about that one too. Although I could just cheap out and paint it the same green as the others. Put the green for the hooves as well. It makes sense. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, for the hooves maybe, but then, you know, for the claws, I'm not so sure. I might make them, I don't know, the claws being green as well. I mean, I guess it makes sense that they would be dark green, right? Because it's made from the same keratin as the armor. I guess that would make sense. But yeah, we have a little bit of nubs here and there that I might want to paint differently. But maybe I should go with the dark green for the armor. But yeah, I mean, no, I strongly believe that it's up to everyone to find God in their own way. Which, of course, means that, I mean, if you want to go Old Testament and you want to read that and you want to combine that with the New Testament or whatever, that's entirely your prerogative. I'm not gonna shit on your parade. I'm not. Oh, thank you for the head pat, Colin. Thank you. Oh, Yeah, maybe that's just my Swedish kind of neutrality thing going on that I can't commit to stuff. Okay, hold on, I gotta put some more plague skin or whatever it's called on plague bearer flesh on the thing. They don't look like actual blades. I mean, I don't want to make them into metal because they are just, you know, they're just gross, right? They're just hardened keratin, I think. But I could try to. Let's see. I'm just making sure that I got everything painted properly. I'm gonna put some more in joints. Make them a little bit darker. Gotta paint his teeth too. I don't want them to be green. They're gonna be white. Blending into silverish color. Oh yeah, I mean maybe. I don't know. Like, it feels very non-organic to have any kind of metallic colors in them. I could paint them green, silver, and then coat that with green, but I don't know. I'm gonna try to do them light green. Actually, I'm gonna try to do just a Hexwraith Flamer, or maybe possibly the Striking Scorpion green. That might be nice. But I'm gonna have to repaint the hoof, this one, because it's brown. But I simultaneously believe that humanity needs to come together and sort of work together to you know, transcend. But I also strongly believe that there's no single way, there's no ultimate solution for every person in the world to transcend them, you know, become one with their god form or whatever. I think a lot of bad things in history have happened because someone was like, I have the actual answers. Like, no, you have your answers and they work for you. They don't necessarily work for anyone else. It has a red, but I don't think I'm gonna go with red. That would be weird. I might put red in their eyes, to be honest. Although they do have eyes. Very, very small eyes. I'll make them red. While we're waiting, here is a very miserable first attempt. Dark blue just does not work. I guess it will work, like third party said, with Necrons, but this was a very, very quick paint over to see if these two colors worked, and honestly, I do think they do. Not these, but these. So this one, I'm putting a little bit more time into this one. I've spent over an hour painting this guy, so I don't know how many models we'll be painting before the stream has to end, but we're taking our time. Also, was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Yeah, so if you watch the movie Hereditary, which is a movie I really recommend anyone to watch, it does uses some stuff from the Lesser Key of Solomon, but I don't know, like, it's a little bit adapted, I believe, but it's a really good story when it comes to like demonic stuff. Also, got paint on my nail because I spilled a bunch of green. Kuku fingers. Ooh. Is the camera fine, by the way? Like, I know it's really hard to get a good focus. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a trend. I'm not a big fan of like, ooh, spooky, scary jump scares. I don't like Annabelle, or whatever they're called. That kind of stuff. I much more prefer a movie like Hereditary, where it's very sinister and it's very human, I guess, very normal. It's all very normal, which is really unnerving. So I like that about Loose Clues. I mean, I know I'm cattle calling the pot black here, but I also at one point I was like, I'm not gonna look too much into everything, because while it's fun to spot symbolism and stuff, it's also pretty easy to sort of start seeing it more than one should. I think it's also good for your brain to turn that off every now and then, and just kind of go, yeah, well, I don't want to look for it in everything. I think you're gonna end up not feeling great if you go through life like that. You can shut it off. That's the wonderful thing about human brain. You can just turn it off and be like, nah, today I'm not gonna look for that stuff. there's also like a lot of borrowed symbolism, right? If you look at, I don't know, if you go and read like, oh yeah, this order of people or these guys, they use this symbol and it shows up everywhere. It's because it's because humanity loves symbolism. Yeah, I mean, that might be it. But then I hope I never hit that point, to be honest. Or at least I hit that point and I'm comfortable with it. Like, I don't necessarily feel like anyone's out to get me, or that there's a big conspiracy doing things to people or whatever. I live in a society that's pretty okay. It's filled with incredibly incompetent politicians. I was politically active for a while, and I know there's a very simple answer to why politicians are ineffective in my country. It's because nobody wants to be a politician. So only the people who do that stuff is the people who are incompetent at it, because they know it's an easy way to get into power. I mean, one of the biggest gullible bastards thinks no one is after him. Yeah, that's a good name for this stream. Hi Ziri, how you doing? This is our dude. We're painting him. It's our little dude right here. But yeah, oh yeah, I'm happy. Hi Charlie, how you doing? Setup's looking crisp. Yeah, we have a massive spot here. We have a patina of green that we left. We accidentally spilled a little bit of green. I got some green on me. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people will see these correlations and not be like, oh yeah, it's because humanity. Hi Monkey, yeah, you missed me spilling a big pile of green here. How you doing? A lot of people will see this symbolism and be like, oh my god, the Freemasons have been everywhere. Or rather, it's like, oh my god, the Freemasons took this very common symbol and used it like a bunch of other groups did. Like, that's a much more reasonable and logical. The frog is turning green. That's a lot more reasonable and logical explanation to a lot of this stuff. It's like, yeah, it's because it's a common symbol, like the cross of St. George or whatever. It's been in history a lot. It has some historical connections, and a lot of people are going to be like, this is cool, we want to use it. It's like, yeah, skulls and crossbones, they look fucking badass. A skull and crossbones? That's awesome. No, you see the guy who wrote Peter Pan, it was actually a Freemason. It's like, okay. Or he just thought it looked cool. Or a little bit of both. Who knows? But yeah, oftentimes things are much simpler and less convoluted than they might appear. I guess. He was, though. Yeah, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Either way, he thought it was cool. Let me tell you, most Freemasons I met, they don't know the first thing about their own order or their symbolism. They're just like, I'm here because it's nice. I'm meeting people. I'm learning cool things. Like, okay, good for you. Like, the amount of Freemasons I know, or I don't know that many, but who are like into occult stuff, very few. Which either means they're dumb pawns of Baphomet or whatever, or it's really not that big of a deal. But I don't know. Maybe I'm absolutely wrong. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'll be shown the light at some point. Or maybe I'll just disappear one day. Kuku Kaeru VT last streamed 6 months ago, and y'all be like, where did Kuku go? But Polly, he'll know. He'll know. Okay. Okay, well, I don't know about this green, to be honest. I'm gonna do a little bit of... gonna get rid of the most. Oh no, got some of the tail. Symbolism, mathematics are heavily occult, measures how what the Masons are all about. I mean, yeah, but so is architects. That's what they're all about too. Oh, put a PNG on your head? Oh, my head? What do you want to put on my head? Monkey, what do you want to put on my head? They're builders. Now, what they're building is... that's the question. But yeah, you if you have a link... Oh, wait, you linked it. Okay, hold on. Sorry. I go through the chat. This is gonna... Okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna put this on, but it's not transparent. But I'll absolutely put it on my head. Hold on. Items. Very subtle naming of this file. Why are they called buildings when they're already built? It should be buildings. They're built. Okay, I'm gonna see here. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna take away the head pats for now, and we're gonna go. Everyone is so mean to me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. It's interesting to talk about, but I'm also like, the more I learn about humans, the more I'm like, there's no way. There's no way there's someone so smart that they're controlling everything. I just don't believe it. Humans are stupid. I'm stupid. There's a lot of really stupid humans. And someone should have fucked up at some point. Everyone is so mean to me. You try not to spill too much. I mean, neither. But, we'll see. We'll see. Man, this guy looks great. I love him. I'm going to clean up his claws a little bit, and then we're going to do the same green for his claws. I don't know. Is this too light green? What do you guys think? For the hooves, is it too light? Look at Columbus and Napoleon. I mean, yeah, absolutely. People have always been part of secret societies. You can go to the Eleusinian mysteries, ancient Greece. You have those there as well. And the thing is, a lot of people would be like, oh, it's an unbroken chain from teacher to teacher. Yeah, or maybe someone found some cool documents once and we're like, yeah, we're gonna take this. Yeah, I don't know about the screen, you guys. I think it might be a little bit too light, right? It doesn't really... Yeah, Greece is a big inspiration, absolutely, for the Frats. Man, American fraternities. Polly, I'm gonna assume you're American. If you're not, I'm sorry. But we don't really have fraternities quite the same way. We don't really have fraternities the same way at all. Actually, darker would be good. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm gonna take the Dark Angel and just use the same technique we did for the scales on the back. This playlist fucks, right? Let me mix this out a little bit with water. We have nations at some of the universities, which I guess is what you'd call a fraternity, but academics is a completely different field in Sweden. It's free to begin with, so if there's any kind of secret society involved in that, I mean, I legitimately don't think there is, because so many people join these organizations, and I don't think they'd all be able to shut up about it. So maybe it's just a Sweden thing. Maybe we don't have it that much in Sweden. But I mean, we don't have really exclusive universities either. Uppsala is probably the most exclusive, and it's still like, I know lots of people who went there. We're too socialist for our own good. Do I really believe it? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'm just a silly little frog. I don't know what I believe. Okay, I might actually just dry brush these with a little bit of light green later on to get some edges out on the claws. But yeah, we're gonna go with a slight bit of dark green. Striking Scorpion, not a great color to start with, but let's make his blades. First of all, we're gonna make them white again. Gonna get rid of some of the flesh color. The blades for these guys, you often really just want to dry brush it because it gives you that sort of bony look to it, which is very good for for organic blades in general. Like, you don't want to do it with metallic stuff, but you want to dry brush bones in general. Bones are very porous, and it looks good. It just looks good. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, I will believe that American secret societies big into Athena, yeah. So my explanation for that is gonna be, at some point there were some pretty clever people who made these groups, and then they made the mistake of introducing a lot of influential and rich but not very smart people into those groups. That's gonna be my hot take regarding that. There's a lot of rich but not very smart people out there. I'll say that much. Now I'm just painting this gun green too. I don't care. I'll make it green. Paint it green. It's like painted black but green. A lot of this wash, this hogwash right here. Orcs are great. Orcs pay everything with orc teeth, and the orc teeth decay over time, and orcs regrow their teeth. So there's simultaneously an infinite supply of orc teeth, as long as there's orcs, but also a limited supply because you can't hoard orc teeth because they will eventually disintegrate. It's a self-regulating economy. It's every economist's wet dream, or rather worst nightmare, I guess, because you can't hoard anything. Orcs are cool. I like them. Pardon me, I burped there, by the way. I wish I could regrow teeth. I mean, that would be kind of cool. You will be soon. I strongly believe that within one generation, or rather, we might be so lucky that we get to experience a post-scarcity society. I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist. We'll have a post-scarcity society. Don't worry about it. Now the question is, will everyone have a post-scarcity society? Well, that's the real issue. I used to be super into transhumanism. They will make it way too expensive. Yeah, that's the thing. They will. Like, I used to be huge into transhumanism, or I guess I still am, but I stopped listening to all the podcasts because the people who do podcasts on transhumanism, they generally tend to be not very savvy about like how things work. They're very idealistic. They're not very good at like, oh yeah, who's paying for this and who's gonna own it, because that's a big issue, right? Who owns it? I mean, you already have stuff like a lot of seeds, or rather a lot of seeds the farmers buy. They can't replant them. They have to buy new seeds from Monsanto, which is kind of weird. Bill Gates toilets. I generally think the less concerned you are with what the people in charge do, the happier your life is. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, it's very cancer. It's very cancer. Genetic termination. See, that's the first step into the dystopian reality we're living in. It's the worst. I mean, then you also have like, yeah, let's try to trademark this genetic sequence. Man, am I being controversially political when I say the corporations are evil? Is that a thing I can say here, or will I get canceled? Plant line? Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have bloodlines too. A lot of farmers are just not going to be able to farm. I don't think I'm actually being very I don't think I'm being very controversial when I say that corpos are evil. Yeah, I think even people who defend corpos will probably be like, yeah, they're a necessary evil. I don't think you can like look at Amazon not having any toilets. Not having any seats in their Polish distribution facility, getting sued about it, and putting in one chair. So now they're not breaking the law anymore. Amazon, man. I don't think anyone will disagree with you on that, lol. No, I'm very good at kicking in open doors, you know. Let's give a little bit of a dry brush to the hoof. Make it stand out a little bit more. You know what the evilest corpo is? It's fucking Hololive. Evil. And just imagine if we put nearly as much time into solving the difficult questions about life instead of like jacking it to anime girls. Not that I've ever done that, mind you. Just a hypothetical situation, unrelated to any personal experience. Man, yeah, dry brushing on some bony on this bony. Not a bad idea. Yeah, see? Look at the hooves. I'm gonna look a lot better with some dry brush on them. Might even want to do that on the scales at the top too. I'm gonna give a slight dry brush. Calliope is 100% on the joke. Yeah, she absolutely. Callie knows it's wrong, but she does it anyway. She's in it for the what's it called? The thing she drinks. Cough medicine, cough syrup, and Sprite. Lint? No, that's not what it's called. Lean. Is Hololive really any more evil than most Japanese? Okay, you know, Matasha. Is Matasha? I don't believe they're evil. I think Hololive is the closest you're gonna get to a non-evil corporation. I think Niji-sanji is miles ahead of cover. Matashiro, sorry. I don't think Hololive is that evil of a corpo. That evil of a corpo, mind you. Implying they're slightly evil. They're far from the worst. Man, yeah, this is coming out nice. Not that I would ever in my life paint an army like this, because I hate Warhammer. I hate Warhammer with a passion. I love the setting, mind you. I love the setting. I love some of the books. Caiaphas Cain, Hero of the Imperium. Great read. I hate the game. Absolutely hate the game. It's pointless. It's the dumbest game they've ever made. Matashashiro. I am so sorry. Matashiro. I'm sorry. Can I call you Mata? Or Shiro? Yeah, pointless game. This is a big old waste of time. You roll one failed roll in the beginning of the game, and then you just slowly see your troops getting whittled away by a guy who has spent 95% of his free time constructing the most OP list imaginable. You know, not a bad look. Not a bad look. I don't think you can see it that well on the camera, but I did some dry brushing on top of his head as well. Okay, I'm gonna call you whatever. Yeah, okay. I think this gun, we need to add some more to the gun. It doesn't look that good. Man, this green is so thin. The one I'm using for the wash. Guys, we're gonna use the dark angel green again, and we're gonna wash it out. I mean, we're gonna add some contrast to it. I'm not so versed on whatever packs Hololive implements, but based on the vehicle alone, I feel like they may be inherently less evil. No, I think they offered their talents wage. I don't know if it's a livable wage. I wouldn't go as far to say that. They offer equipment. They seem very controlling. But I'm gonna say this. I was in Japan. The amount of merch deals, the amount of deals, ad deals that they made with other companies would not be possible if they could not restrain their talents. Because you know, okay, you're having a collab with like a corp company that makes candy for kids, right? One of your talents, Pecora, she's doing an ad for candy. And if Pecora suddenly starts like streaming and yelling all kinds of obscenities, that company makes candy for kids. Not going to be very happy with Pecora, and that's going to look bad in the revenue. That's the price you pay for becoming a corporate talent. I think Hololive, like the whole debacle with Russia, I don't know the full story there, but I think it just the jobs just kept piling up, you know, and ultimately it was just like, nah, this is too volatile of a situation to do anything with, and it might have also been like she leaked information and all that kind of stuff. I don't know the whole story, but they could have probably handled it better. But I think it was just like an assessment of, yeah, no, she's too risky of an asset. And people don't really, I don't think they care. I don't think Hololive, I don't think, what are they called, Cover, I don't think they care that much about super text, those kind of things, subs. They care more about ad revenue, right? They care more about ad deals. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them out there now. I can't keep track of all the generations. I've tried. So I think that Cover just really, they just went like, no, she's not a good investment anymore. Coco, I do believe she quit. She was given a new model, I mean, just like weeks before she retired. Hi, Astro. Not accustomed to start painting Warhammer these days. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about getting started with Warhammer painting, right? I'm not a good person as a role model because I invest way too much money into this. I have put way too much money into this. But right, okay, you want to buy a box of models to paint? I strongly recommend getting one of the bigger boxes. This is the Acadian Shock Troops, but a box of 11 models. That is 10 Gaunts, 10 of these little guys, and a base of what are they called? The Devourers, the little guys. I never remember what they're called. That's like gonna cost you $35. I mean, at least in Sweden, $35. Then the best thing to do is get like 3 or 4 paints. You want to get a spray paint of Wraithbone. This depends, of course, on how you want to paint. So I'm using Wraithbone both as a foundation spray, which I sell now, but also to patch up any mistakes I make on the model. Then I'm basically using Dark Angel Green and what's it called, Hex Wraith Flame for my greens. I'm using Plague Bearer Flesh for the body. Then I'm probably going to be using either Contrast Bale Red or like basically 5 or 6 paints, right? You need 5 or 6 paints, and they will cost you roughly $3 per jar. Then you got to get all these tools, because you of course got to glue them. You gotta cut them, and if you glue them, I use Tamiya liquid plastic cement. I don't know. This was pretty cheap. Don't buy Citadel tools. Citadel knives, Citadel glue. They're not good. I like the Citadel paints myself. You really don't need to get them. Vallejo has a really good line of miniature paints that are a little bit cheaper. I'm gonna say that painting 10 of these guys, getting everything I need from the beginning, would cost you maybe $100. $100. That's 10 models, getting them painted. Might be less, not entirely sure. Might be a little bit more, depending really on where you live. If you live in Australia, then you're fucked, because Games Workshop hates Australia. That's just an established factoid, because the import cost models there is insane. But yeah, I mean, way too much money, especially considering a lot of it will dry out really quickly. But these are contrast paints that I'm using, and they are very good. You don't need to buy any shades. Contrast paints will naturally pool in crevices and will withdraw from edges. They will kind of like shrink. So you will get like a natural kind of highlight on your model. It won't look as good as if you're a really good highlighter on yourself, but I'm not, and I don't have time for that, and I'm painting Tyranids. There's a million of these guys. So I'm using like 3 or 4 contrast paints, and maybe like a red for details. You don't need black. I don't really need black for this one because a lot of these contrast paints get really dark, especially if you use like multiple layers. Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely argue either getting like a starter box, because those usually are the most cost efficient if you know you want to paint them all, or buy a small box of 10 models. It's more expensive per model. And depending on which army you pick, the point value in the game is going to differ. If you want to play the game, this is a bad investment, because these guys are worth nothing in the game, but they cost as much as like 10 Space Marines, who are worth significantly more money. I would usually recommend you start painting Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines early on, because they're easier to paint, they look pretty cool, and they're way cheaper by the dozen than game-wise. They're less interesting in the sense that they don't... I mean, these guys, you can do a lot of fun stuff with them. They're pretty cool design-wise. You can also go the route of doing like a... what are they called? The Kill Team set. They sell Kill Team boxes. Kill Team is a really fun way of playing Warhammer 40k because they're like a squad. So you only need to paint a squad, and a lot of them are very personalized. So you can spend more time per model. It's generally not very expensive, and I don't know what I'm doing. They're nice. So Kill Team's definitely a fun way of playing the game. If I would play, which I don't, because I don't like playing the game because I hate losing. I'm a sore loser. And I don't like games that are based on luck, generally. Okay, and yeah, no problem. Hope you are having a good one, Astro. So, let's see here. I like the world of 40k. I don't like the world of 40k. I would never want to live there. It seems like a wretched place. Some authors have made it a little bit more livable compared to how it was originally presented. But it's 100% a dystopia, right? It's a dystopian realm where there's only war, people die in the bajillions every day, you're fighting a losing war, everything is fucked, everything sucks. So if you meet someone, or if you're someone who's like, I would like to live in this world, then you're like, statistically, you would have a really miserable existence. I think it's cool. I love the aesthetics of 40k, but like, I always try to remember it was created as a satire. I'm just kind of on like 80s Thatcherism with a hint of Dune. Like, they stole a lot, of course. But it's not supposed to be a nice place. It's very Starship Troopers-esque too. It's definitely not Star Wars, you know. Not that I'm a fan of Star Wars, mind you, but Star Wars is a little bit more of a hopeful universe than 40k would be. Trying to get the eyes right, but they're so small. They're so small. My God, they're so small. Very, very tiny eyes on these guys. Might not even be worth painting the eyes, to be honest, but I really do want it. So I'm gonna get some red, some normal red, and just do a little dot there. I can't paint on by the camera because it's just, I need to lean the model on the table too, because my hands are super shaky. Okay. I like this playlist a lot. I found it recently. It's just like 80s inspired music. All right, I forgot to paint his claws. Hold on. Let's paint those now while we're waiting for the eyes to dry a little bit. Yeah, dark angel green. We'll just go dark angel green right away and then dry brush a little bit of wraithbone on top of that to make it look a little bit more bony. I'm gonna post fairly high-res photos on Twitter once we're done, so the model is gonna look okay. Man, I am sweating up a storm in here. I'm gonna have to take my jacket off soon. But let's just paint these claws here and make them dark green. Just a little bit of dark green, doesn't have to be a lot, because we're gonna go over them with wraithbone after that. I think there's a lot of funny conspiracy theories out there, but I think, like I said before, I think it's oftentimes very telling if there's a scammer, because a scammer is gonna give you some bullshit reply like, oh, you can't learn this on your own, or you need a guide, or this is stuff that only certain people can work with. If everyone tells you that, I'd call bullshit on that right away. There is, of course, being precautious and being careful. But again, like I said earlier on, the reason I respect the Ars Godia, the Leshkis of Solomon, is that it doesn't fucking mince words. It doesn't go, oh, you need to be grade D to be able to do this, or you need to la da da da. It just goes, yeah, we recommend you start with elementals because they're kind of benign. Is that what's called, benevolent? They're not gonna fuck you over, probably. And maybe don't start with demons, but if you gotta start with demons, here's where to start. Again, it doesn't try to sell you anything, which I respect. Yeah, spiritualness and mindfulness coaches, they don't teach you how to be mindful. Or rather, they don't teach you how to become mindful. They make you, they teach you mindfulness, which it's a small distinction. I'm just gonna take off my shirt because it's really warm in here. They will absolutely, like, they don't want you to go out and teach other people, right? But if they want you to do that, you're gonna have to pay for the knowledge. You're gonna have to be like a paying member, or like, get your information from somewhere. I can't respect that. I can't respect that. Look, if an organization is like, yeah, we need to charge you like $50 per year or whatever, because we have rent to pay, I'll be like, yeah, sign me up. I'll pay your rent. Like, that makes sense. I want to see where the money goes, If they go, you need this to get this, but we're not going to tell you where the money goes to. Very sus. Possibly even a mogus. Alright, hold on, let's, question is, should we give the gun, I'm guessing we should probably make the gun, like, bony too, right? Wait, hold on. What happened here? Thought you could just sneak that past me, you little minx. There we go. Oh, hi, Momo! I've been banned from drawing Warhammer. I tried painting a Warhammer figurine once. I've been banned from drawing Warhammer, like, ever again. They didn't like your skill, boy. You paint him in like a skittle? I love it. Let me guess, you didn't thin your paints. That's the classic beginner thing. Let's see here. We have a base Mephisto red. Not too thick. Sorry, Momo, I didn't actually realize you had posted before. So I read Matashashiro's message before yours. They don't like your skill boy. I want to see photos of your skill boy. Ah, man. Okay, my Mephisto red is dead. It is gone. It has gone the way of the dodo. It is no longer alive. Let me get some of my other reds here. Daka red, is that? My Daka red might be fine. I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I think like a PT doesn't hide the fact that they're, I mean, everything they teach you, you could find yourself online, right? Unless they're absolutely bullshitting you. A PT is there to motivate you to doing it yourself. PT is there to lift you up. And if you find a guide or a mentor who's like, yeah, here's all the stuff you'll need, I'm gonna create like a curriculum for you that you can follow if you want. It worked for me, but basically you have to do this yourself or it's gonna be pointless. That's a guy I'd listen to. Because he's not trying to bullshit you. He's just saying, hey, I did this way. I'm there for you. You want to bounce ideas? I'm all about it. That's the kind of guidance you should be looking for. Not like, oh yeah, I'm a 6th degree master of crafts in the esoteric school of holy blee blah. And if you want to get to that level, you're gonna have to do X, Y, and Z. And each grade you get, you'll learn more and more about it. Like, I don't know, man. On the other hand, like, I can totally see how this might have become some kind of a defense mechanism for some groups. I mean, given time, like, you might have been infiltrated by other groups or had your shit stolen from you or that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I still think that esoteric knowledge, again, if you say, yeah, we keep this secret because it's ours and we worked hard for it, I'd respect that more than someone going, oh yeah, our goal is to enlighten humanity, but not every humanity. Not everyone's gonna get this information, and certainly not for free. That's very sus. Hold on. That's dark green. We don't want to have dark green there. Man, I am spending way too much time on this model. Way more than it deserves. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some more runs with the plague color again, because I've painted over stuff that shouldn't be dark green. This is my problem. If I was a good painter, I wouldn't have to do all these corrections later on. So there you have it. I'm a hack. Absolute hack. Don't listen to me, whatever you do. I strongly believe every human being has the capabilities and skills to master themselves to a degree where they are less victims of what they might perceive as fate. Yeah, no worries, Polly. I do think that there is no such thing as fate, and I don't think there's bad luck. I think there's chance, and then there's also like mentality involved. You can have a loser's mentality in the sense that you can look for reasons not to succeed, and I think that will subconsciously affect the outcome of a lot of things around you. If you expect to lose, or if you expect to be treated poorly, you'll see it. You'll see it happen. Power of the mind. You have power to remove yourself from certain situations. You have the power to find other people to socialize with if they are not what you want. Generally speaking, some people are in a situation where they are held against their will. They don't have the power. So I guess it's like potentially you have it. In a world where everyone is equal, let's just say that. In a world where everyone is born equal, humanity at its full potential, absolutely. For everyone, no. I'm very lucky to have been born how I am, being a frog. So I have had more leeway in that sense. I have had more control over my own destiny. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, you mental illness is not a thing. It's about just having the right mentality. No, that's bullshit. But I do think that there is no like hard limit in terms of potential between humans. I think just situations may differ, if that makes any sense. And some will not have the same situation, and so it will be a lot more difficult for them to get power over their own lives. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I don't think I am even remotely close to universal about these things, and I absolutely understand. Like, I'm speaking from my perspective, which is vastly different. Like, to me, hearing that people can work for like 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, and still not make a fraction of what I make, that to me is madness. That to me is madness. That just shows also like the kind of world I grew up in and how it can be different from other people's worlds. So you also have to be, I mean, I also have to be humble to the fact that not everyone was born with the same possibilities as me. I was able to attend university free of charge, basically. And that is not a privilege that everyone can afford. In the best of worlds, absolutely each person should be free to pursue their own goals, their own transcendence, or non-transcendence. But that is not the world we live in, sadly. And I think a lot of people are born with physical limitations. It makes it difficult for them. But yeah, I don't know. You're playing on hard mode, I guess. Let me see if I have a smaller brush to kind of dot the eyes with. I do. I have a fine detail brush. I have quite a lot of brushes, and most of them are in decent condition. That's been my careful administration of saliva over the years that have maintained their luster. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna have to dot the eyes again because I screwed up last time. So okay. Also, we're gonna paint the teeth while we're at it. Too much paint on the brush. I don't like this. The eyes are very, very hard to paint. And I think it's because I'm putting white in there. I should just put red right away. There's a little dot of red. Maybe even go as far as to put in some red wash instead. Gotta say though, it's turning up pretty well so far. We're gonna put some more details. We're gonna put like a very bright green in the gun. Make him look a little bit, make the bullets look a little acidy. Gonna make a yellow green for that. A bright yellow green. Maybe even yellow. Maybe even yellow. Okay, but I'm gonna do red. Well, ball red doesn't work. Or actually, no. Yeah, it's a contrast. Never mind. It does. If you hear the sound of rattling in these paints, it's because I put some small metal balls in them. Ball bearings? Is that the word for it? To make sure that I can shake up the paint properly. Okay, let's see here. The red is very strong, so I'm trying to thin it out around the edges. Not going great. Okay, I'm gonna have to repaint around the eyes again. Oh, Fable Hollow. When did you follow? Did you follow this stream? No, wait, your name was on the screen immediately when you followed. Hold on. Oh, I'm getting a little thirsty. Very warm here. Let's see. Okay. And some more of this Play Bear Flesh. I don't know how interesting this stream is, to be honest. This is my first model painting stream, but I'm having a great time, so at least one of us is. I hope you're all doing good, though. Hope you're doing good. It's almost the middle of the week. It's almost a weekend. Just 3 more days. Or 4, depending on where you live. I got some really nice art recently, both a skeb and a really nice commission that I reseeded, sorry. Okay, you know what? I'm pretty okay with this. I'm pretty okay with how it looks so far. The red in the eye, not great. Not great. But, you know, decent enough for a model that's, oh yeah, the skeb looked amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I really loved it. So cute. The artist actually didn't hit the delivered date, but they just immediately sent like, oh please let me like a reopen, and then they finished it on the day after. I felt really bad for them. I was like, but it also made me really happy to see it. So I liked it a lot. Yeah, you know what? Let's actually let's do a very brief dry brush of let me see, let me get the dry brush here, of the gun. Let's give it a little bit of wraith bone on it, so it looks like it's made out of bone as well. I like that. But yeah, if you're painting bone, or a bone-like growth, if you're painting brown bricks, you're painting a growth or bone, you really do want to employ the dry brush technique, because it makes it look a lot like bone, as far as I know. It gives it that porous kind of look that is growing, you know, organic look. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Carpenter, John Carpenter. I love his music, even though it's oftentimes very simple. It has a very cool feel to it. Okay, yeah, this gun is maybe a little bit too much dry brush, but it's fine. It's fine. From a distance, we also got to think about the fact that this model is going to be looked at from a distance. That's also something really worth taking into account when you're painting figurines. You want to have sharply contrasting paints generally, because most of the time your figurine is not going to be held up to someone's eyes and be inspected that way, but rather be looked at from like a distance, depending of course on what your purpose is. Like a golden demon level of painted model, it's going to look a little bit weird fielded on a table, because they're usually, a lot of them are painted to be more looked at up close, I guess. Golden Demon is the painting awards that are run by Games Workshop in general, and they're cool. But a lot of times I've seen some stuff that's like, I don't know. But there's a lot of talent behind there. People who paint a lot. I was always a little bit of a purist. I didn't want to get into dry brushing. No, not dry brushing. Airbrushing. I have a lot of friends who started airbrushing their armies, and frankly, it's not a rational dislike of it. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of a risky. I don't know if I would have the right amount of control over it, so to speak. Or I would feel like I'd be a little bit like worried that I had to use a lot of paint or whatever. So I never felt like I wanted to do that. And I also kind of like the slow thing. I have 120 Imperial Guard soldiers painted from way back when I was a student. And me and a friend, we would sit together long into the evenings and listen to One Piece. We'd have One Piece running and just paint. And I'd paint 12 models in an hour. About an hour, 2 hours maybe, tops, for 12 models. But that was, I mean, it nearly broke me. I generally don't like horde armies. Yes, orcs are kind of borderline. They're cool, so they get a pass. Oh no! Oh no! painted... Hold on. Painted Wraithbone on the magazine. I didn't want that. Just on the middle part of it. Ah! Ugh! Fucked it up majorly. Okay. Yeah, I'm very bad with like small details. Too much paint. I think that's the problem. Yeah, I'm significantly better. Not great, but better. But we're gonna put yellow here. We just make sure that the edges are fine. So the thing is, because I use a medium on the dark green, it's still liquid. And kind of use it to my advantage. Okay, now the pipes have been painted. Oh Johnny boy, the pipes are calling. And they're yellow. Let's go with that one. And then maybe like a thin layer of green on top of that. I don't know how that's gonna look. You want to make, yeah, this is like a bright orange yellow, very intense. I used this to paint Imperial Fists once. Oh, it's a little bit thick. It's a little not as bright as I thought it was. Maybe it's thickened a little bit over the years. Whatever. You gotta also take into account that this is a dime a dozen model. I shouldn't be paying that much time on it. The cope is real. Copium is flowing. Yeah, you know what? I think this guy's done. Looks fine, I think, right? I think it's okay. Yeah, kind of shine a light from another direction on him. Yeah, baby. Now we're talking. Look at this. Look at the way the shadows work on him. That's really cool. Yeah, this is, I mean, he looks more brown than green, which is fine. Yeah, I like this color scheme. It's not very hard to do. I think it works well. The claws I could have maybe spent a little bit more time on. The hooves I really like. Hooves look great. As do the armor plates on the back. I like him. And then if we... Whoa! Blinded by the light. Imagine this thing running at you. I mean, I'm not doing the base now. Yeah, the gun looks like crap, but it's because I repainted it a bunch of times. I'll probably get better at it over time. I really like how the contrast paint just kind of seeps into the nooks and crannies, and how it looks like a highlight too. Really big fan of contrast paints in general. They do a good job. They do a good job. No. Yeah, nice. Tongue is bright red. That's the way I like it. Let me see if I can move this a little bit closer and change the focus on the camera. Hold on. I don't know if I can change it enough, but... I mean, not bad. The teeth. No shading between the upper teeth. That doesn't look good. Yeah, look at this. Pretty okay. Considering I haven't painted anything in a couple of years. I'd say it's okay, right? Oh my god, there's a hair on it. I didn't even see that. it's not great. It's not amazing. Definitely stuff can be improved. There's some dark green on the flesh. Yeah, see at the back of his head here, there's still some green. Turn him around. I believe there's some of that stuff too on this side of the head. Oh, not as bad. The eyes. Oh, ooh, that's nasty. Yeah, we don't want to look at that. Otherwise, you know, I'm pretty satisfied. Pretty happy. Looks suitably buggy, froggy. Gross hairy frog. Hey, Ice Fox, don't be mean. Yeah, give your biomaterial, give it to me. This is fun. I like this. I don't know if I should paint anymore because this is taking 2 hours and I don't want to stream for 4 hours. But kind of wondering if I should dry brush white on one of these. Wait, hold on. Yes. I'm gonna get a raid? Okay, I'll hold on. I'll keep doing stuff. No worries. I'm gonna try to do the dry brush white on one of these guys and see if that actually changes anything. So we'll work a little bit in another model. I'm gonna get a raid. Nice. Thank you. Thank you for the warning. Okay, I named this one Mr. White, yo. Mr. White, yo, because this is Vallejo's white. Never, ever, ever, ever get Citadel white, because Citadel white is a garbage paint for garbage people. And I'm not saying that you are garbage people. I'm saying Citadel white will dry as soon as you open the can, as soon as you open the jar. It will dry. I think this white is still. This is like 7 years old, man. This white is old. And it's still flowing. It's still flowing. The white must flow. The white must flow. Look at this. Look at this. Vallejo, they can do white. That's for sure. Okay, so we got some white out. We're gonna dry brush that on this model, which is of course bone white. So that might actually give us a better highlight when we put on the contrast. Because we want to highlight before we put on the contrast. It's a lot easier. Do 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 do. I mean, what we could do is we could end the stream by playing. Oh, hello, Tutora Mao. Hi everyone. Welcome everybody. It's me, Kuku Kaeru. Tiger Raid. Hi, welcome everyone. Tiger Raid. Hi, how you all doing? How you doing? Welcome everyone. I'm Kuku Kaeru. I'm a Swedish tree frog, leaf frog, whatever. Pick your poison. I'm also a cyborg, and I have a frog butt on my forehead. Hi, hello everyone. Let me welcome you all. Winry Epona. Oh, thank you for the follow, Winry Epona. Mond, hi. Julius the Tiger. Hello. Swirl Drop. Hi. Lulu, Hell Slime. Yeah, we're doing some painting. I'm just experimenting with Oh, thank you for the follow, Binya. Thank you for the follow. Snarky. Hello, fellow 40K enjoyer. Yeah, you bet your bottom dollar or your top dollar that I am. I'm painting some Tyranids because I'm getting back into the painting room. Hi everyone. Oh, thank you for the follow, Lulu. I got some apples, Lulu. You got some too, Lulu. Isn't that like that's Butters, right? Yeah, I'm trying to do the smash chop. Oh, Snarky, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Frogregation, everybody. I'm a frog cyborg. My previous owner accidentally ran me in the microwave oven, and they managed to save my body and restore me. Oh, thank you, Boop. Oh, thank you. Hey, thank you for becoming a frog. Thank you for subbing. That's really cool. Thank you, Snarky. That's really cool of you. Welcome. You now have access to the Mr. Frog emotes, which just automatically makes a cool person. Tiberius, thank you so much for the follow. Skywalker, classic name. Really cool. Thank you again, everyone. Let me show you what I just painted. That might be more interesting. I just painted this little guy. This is I'm trying out a color scheme. Let me go through the name list. I didn't miss anyone. Oh yes, you got the Frogamos now. Hold on. Let's see here. Mars, Polybius, of course. Thank you so much for the raid. Mon, thank you for the raid. Hekali, thank you for the raid. Pirog, I love pirogues. You're fucking around TF2. Benya, thank you so much for cheering, for welcoming. Hi. Oh my gosh. Thank you again for subbing. Thank you, Tutora, Winria Pona, Swirl drop, cool. Thank you, everyone. Oh, Snarky, thank you for giving a sub to Lulu. Lulu, I got some apples. Lulu, you got some too. I'm trying to do like a frog-based color scheme a little bit, so we've been experimenting. But thank you so much for the sub. But yeah, fucking around in TF2 is always allowed. It's really cool. This is a little bit of a chill stream, more chill than I usually do. I was feeling a little bit down. I had some nightmares, so I just decided to try to paint, do a paint stream. Yeah, I love your name, Lulu. Snarky, what the fuck? Oh my god. Snarky, thank you so much. Holy shit. Thank you for the gift subs. That's really cool. Thank you for giving a gift sub to Mog, to Gusha, to Bunkum, Elbandi, and Blade Hacksaw. Wow. Snarky, you're MVP. You're MVP. Thank you so much. Lurkers call out. Thank you so much. I know a couple of people who'd actually love it here. Oh, that's awesome. I'm really glad. I usually don't do many paintings, so this was like a sort of a impromptu, but thank you. God, that's really cool. Thank you so much, Snarky. I gotta drink some water. I gotta humidify the frog. But yeah, I just got back into painting Warhammer for the longest time. I haven't been painting for years, and I've never done a painting stream like this before. So I tried to set up I have my camera glued to my desk, and I have a little dude here. They're very expensive to get into. One of these, 10 of these is like $35. It's crazy. Yeah, Julius, thank you. I really thank you for those kind words. I love Totora. Totora is amazing. Totora Mao is the coolest tiger. There's none cooler, none holier. Yeah, I'd experiment around a little bit with the green. I'm not super happy about how the gun turned out with this guy, but I really like this color combo in general. Got a froggy vibe to him. The orange could have looked better, but I was experimenting with those. I'm not super happy about the claws here at the front. Also, pardon my green nail, by the way. I had a little paint spill accident on stream. A lot of dark green flowed out, so I got it all over my fingers. So I actually carefully cleaned my nails before the stream. Not that it mattered, because I immediately got paint on them. I've been building models and kit bashing for 2 years without painting a single model completely. It's okay. Lulu, very relatable. Very relatable. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I don't have any of my old models unpacked. I'm a big fan of the contrast paints. The GW have been releasing. I'm not a fan of GW in general. I think they had a very brief period in 2016 to 17 where they were cool, and then they just went back to their old mean ways where they're like, oh, we're losing money. Let's do a price hike. For so long, that was like the Games Workshop credo. We're not making enough money. Let's raise all the prices on the models. It's not easy being a GW fan. Oh my god, we got a Runkar, thank you. Oh my god, another raid. Hi, welcome everyone. Hi, I'm Kuku Kaeru. I'm a Swedish tree frog. Welcome everyone. Thank you. Based opinion, thank you. Hi everyone, welcome folks. I'm Kuku Kaeru. I'm doing some miniature painting. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome. Hi, Nordpinne. Welcome. Nordpinne. Cool. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Frogregation. Quiero. Thank you, everyone. This is the guy I just finished painting. I've just started painting again after like... Oh my god, Little Cass, VT, thank you also so much for the follow. Welcome. This is the guy that we've been painting so far. I'm just getting back into it. Did you ever check back to old prices? A Storm Talon used to cost 20 pounds. I don't know how much that was in euros for us, but it sure was way less. Yeah, everything is just raised constantly. I hate it. 10 of these guys, which are worth like nothing. Thank you, Runkar. Thank you so much. That's really nice. You're also a Swedish VTuber, så välkomna allihopa. Jag heter Kuku Kaeru, jag är en svensk lövgroda. Jag bor i Stockholm. Så nu pratar jag lite svenska. Jag är i alla fall glad att jag inte bor i Australien. I Australien kostar de här modellerna hur mycket som helst. Det är helt sjukt. Nu ska jag prata svenska. I'm gonna speak Swedish like... Yes. Yes, Swedish. Ooh, Swedish. Jag ska prata svenska som en gammal gubbe för några minuter. Klassisk Elbandi. Förstår för mig. Oh, my Swedish sounds so nice. Sono wono. Vad kul att du gillar min svenska. Jag älskar öl. Jag älskar öl. Öl är det bästa som finns. Jag älskar verkligen öl. Det är helt otroligt. No, but I'm gonna talk like an old man now for a little bit. We're just gonna have an old man McFrog here for a little bit. You're gonna be talking. So basically, I like the Tyranids because there's a lot of them, and they like to eat people's biomass. So they kill you. And these guns, you see, the guns are growing out of their bodies. Everything's organic about these guys. So if you want to get organic looking kind of growth, my suggestion is that you paint them and then you dry brush them lightly with some wraith bones. and that will okay, that's gonna be enough for the old man McFrog here. Thank you so much, Albandi. Oh, Kamui, you want me to lift your spirits? Kamui, I really appreciate you. You're a really good guy. I love your energy, and I also vibe so totally with you because I know you used to watch old Flash Tub stuff. I don't know anyone else who used to, like, how is Babby formed? I've never seen anyone else make that reference, and just seeing you recognizing all these old references. Oh, lift my own spirits. You lift my spirits, Kamui. You make me happy. Thank you. Jag älskar öl. My own spirits. I'm not that bad at painting. I'm pretty okay at it. Yeah, I Quiero. Yeah, he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy, Kamui. He's absolutely deranged. But hey, Alice, we're all kind of deranged over here. I was actually, I don't know if I should start painting this guy because I was thinking of maybe playing some bolt gun, which I haven't actually played that much, which is a fun game. Okay, Lulu, good luck with your shopping. Good luck with your shopping. Oh, you're gonna paint along? You know what? Then we're just gonna have to keep painting, right? We're just gonna have to keep painting. So what I did with these is that I actually went with a lighter green first, Hex Wraith, but I don't know if I should. But I'm not die. Kamui, Snarky. Oh my god, thank you so much for the gift sub. Thank you for gifting a sub to Kamui. That's really, really cool. I'm sorry I don't have... Oh, that's okay. Thank you for the gift sub. I really appreciate it. That's very, very nice of you. I don't have a lot of emotes right now because I'm very bad at them, but these are the 2 subscriber emotes that I have. Thank you so much for giving a gift sub. I really appreciate it, Snarky. You're a cool dude. You're a cool dude with a cool tude. Now Kamui is a bronze frog. Ain't that nice? Ain't that nice? And I also modified the Twitch frog emote because I love that emote so much. So no one no. So no one no. It's so hard to pronounce that. Also, if in case you're wondering what this thing on my forehead is, everyone is so mean to me. I can also be toxic. Hold on, let me be toxic. No wait, this is my devil trigger form. Here's my toxic frog form. Now we're gonna go back to the regular old Kuku form. A little froggy booty. Yeah, right? It's a little booty. You're right, Epona, Winry Epona. Winry is from Fullmetal Alchemist, and Epona is the name of the horse from Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Am I right? Am I right? Winry, I love Winry. She's one of my favorite characters from Fullmetal Alchemist. I love Armstrong, General Armstrong. She's the best. She's badass. I think, is the camera properly, like, can you see properly? I've done a bunch of, like, I was doing a smash chop, crash chop, smash chop, chop smash thing. The thing is, you should start with a black model, right? And you're gonna dry brush on Wraithbone. That gives you a fairly warm shade for highlighting. So what I did was I dry brushed some just white, some as I like to call it, Mr. White, yo. And I dry brushed slap chop. That's the one. Lulu, you're right. Slap chop. Winnie, like a sound of horse makes. Oh. Oh, hello, oh, thank you, Julius. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Green Kuku, hello, ma'am. Nice to meet you. Red Kuku, your daughter calls me daddy, too. And this one is, actually, that's not the true, how you pronounce that. Nerd. This is the nerd form. Yeah, I like horses. Have you seen BoJack Horseman? That's a good show. Okay, let's actually get started with the painting. Horses are cool. Horses are also kind of weird and scary, but they're cool. They're mostly cool. So let's hope I don't spill any paint right now. I'm going to start with this green on the armor plates. That's where we want to start. I'm going to use a lot of it because I'm going to have to go over with Wraithbone later on anyway to kind of patch up all the spots that I shouldn't have painted on. But yeah, this guy has carapace growing out of it, so we want to make the outer armor pieces look kind of, you know, just kind of like bone, right? Like a bony growth. Now, do I have an airbrush? I do not. I was actually just talking about airbrushing. I have a lot of friends who do airbrush. For the longest time, I was like, that's cheating. But you know what? It's not cheating. I'm just terrified of making mistakes, right? I don't know if you can see, but I have kind of shaky hands, especially when I'm trying to do details. I've always had really shaky hands, so it's very, very difficult for me to paint, and I'm scared of making mistakes. A lot of times I will lean my wrists against each other for support, but it's always been a struggle for me to paint. I'm very jumpy. I think I've always been kind of jumpy because I'm fairly good at like reaction games where you have to have like fast reactions. I've been pretty good at those, so I think I'm just generally very high-strung most of the time. So when it comes to painting, that's not a good thing. That's a very bad thing, really. So it makes me a little sad that I struggle with the painting. There's something in this song that sounds like the scream the frog does when someone follows. So I'm getting very distracted by it. I don't want to miss someone and give them a thanks for the follow. But I'm gonna go back to my semi-calm stream. I was talking a lot about like occult stuff before, but frankly, there's a lot of stuff you can talk about. If you guys aren't familiar with Warhammer 40k, it's ridiculously overpriced. That's the first thing you need to know about it. But it has some really gnarly and cool lore that I'm a very big fan of. It's basically... Oh, hold on. My buddy loves airbrushing. I'd say it's a very good mini. Yeah, absolutely. I like I said, I used to call it cheating. It's absolutely not cheating. It's another way of painting. I am just too set in my ways to learn a new way of painting, and I think it requires quite a lot of talent to do decent airbrushing. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come across as someone who's like, no, airbrushing is cheating. It's absolutely a valid and very difficult and good way of painting your miniatures. But I'm old school. I'm an old frog. I struggle with adjusting to the fast-paced society. I'm like that old guy in Shawshank Redemption, except I'm not gonna do what he did. But yeah, it's difficult to catch up to things. There's a good grip you can get. You brace the hand, you hold the model in against the table, and then brace the painting hand against it while also bracing against the table. You can raise. Oh, thank you for soaking me. Drinking. Thank you so much, Snarky. I'm gonna do a stretch. Thank you. I really needed that. Base coating is such a breeze with it, like 10% faster. Recently, best investment I ever made, so worth it. Yeah, I mean, I would probably love it. I would probably love airbrushing. Like I said, I'm just dumb. I'm just old. Thank you so much for the stretch and the moisturize the frog redeem. The frog is now humid. My skin is slimy. I can breathe through my pores again. Everything is good. But yeah, 40k is a really interesting setting. It takes place in the 41st millennia, or technically in the 42nd millennia, because they actually moved the timeline forward. And so this is long into the future. It's very Dune inspired. It's very Starship Troopers inspired. And basically humanity is beset on all sides by threats. Every day is a struggle for survival, right? So these guys are called the Tyranids, and they are galaxy devouring locusts. Basically, they consume biomass to multiply. Their only goal is to multiply and consume more biomass. That's all they do. And they only just arrived to our galaxy, to the Milky Way, right? From another galaxy that is completely dead. Completely devoid of life. L2D died? Oh, sorry, it's because I'm like looking down. It's because I'm looking down the model, I'm sorry. But basically, humanity is also threatened by orcs, which are, orcs. They're green, they're orcs. And they grow from mushrooms. They're actually a species designed and developed to be like the ultimate war species against what I think it's Necrons they were designed to fight. Necrons are, or used to be, this a race of like a race that was enslaved and put into like Terminator-esque robot bodies, and they want to just wipe out all existence basically. I think they just kind of hate life in general, but they changed some of that lore. Oh, sorry, I can do that without hiccuping. Yeah, hiccuping. Orcs are really good. I like orcs a lot. Orcs are cool too because they never stop growing. They have, pardon me, burp. They have something called, well, the Wog is like their war cry, but it's also like a psychic field. The more orcs are close to each other, the more powerful it is. Hold on. Let's get that. Ugh. A piece of something just weird. Orcs are really cool. So they grow out of mushrooms, right? And when they die, they release spores. The orcs are the best. Orcs the best. They're the biggest. I'm the biggest, so I'm the best. And the bigger they are, the more power they have, the more influence they have. And they also have like magic. If they believe in something enough, it works. So if they believe that a gun can fire, it can fire. If they believe that a car that is red goes faster, it will go faster. There's been some contrasting lore about this, and a lot of people are like, well, actually, that's not how it works. But I really do enjoy the kind of weird way that orcs are in the original narrative. I think 40k should not be taken quite as seriously as it is. I think it's a horrible, horrible world that I would not want to live in at all. But basically, humanity also are fighting against space elves, the Eldar. And they are a dying race. At one point, they were so horny and so decadent that they fucked a new god into existence. I kid you not. And ever since then, they've been like, oh, we must repent, or we must fight back against this, whatever. So that happened. And then you also have Dark Elves, who are like, we have to sacrifice souls to keep this foe at bay, or whatever. Because Slaanesh, which is the god of decadence and lust that they accidentally created, lusts for Eldar souls. It really a grim world. Oh, that's so cool. I'm glad you like it. Orcs are the only ones having fun. But yeah, the Eldar are really cool too, and there's Dark Eldar, and there's Craftworld Eldars, all those kinds of things. I'm giving a very brief summary of things, but it's basically fantasy and space, right? And then you have the Tau, which are like space communists. They're very, very young species. They've only been around for a couple of thousand years. And they're sort of like collectivists, and they fight for the greater good. Very like not Gundam Seed. They're very inspired by like what is it called? Appleseed, like Masami Shiro's Sign of Mechas. Then you have the Tech Priests. So basically, humanity kind of had like a golden era, right? A long time ago, maybe like 30,000 years ago. But then things just kind of went to crap, and every planet of humanity that we had conquered got isolated. So there's still hundreds of thousands of planets of humans out there that had not been rediscovered by the human imperium, right? And one of these planets was Mars, which was like the technological center. And they became the Tech Priests. They worship technology in all its forms. But people have developed this kind of esoteric relationship to technology where they don't really understand how things work. And AI is strictly forbidden. They call it something else. They don't call it artificial intelligence. They call it like I don't know what they call it. And then they also believe that every machine has like a soul, like a machine spirit. That must be a piece for the machine to work. So they will basically conduct like rituals to get tanks running and stuff like that. Like they are technologically understanding, but they're also sort of approaching it in a really strange kind of way. And then of course you have the main forces of humanity. Yeah, they're basically weebs with Gundams. I agree with you. They're weebs. They were created for the Japanese market actually. The Tau were created for Warhammer launch in Japan, and they wanted to make an army that would be popular in Japan. I don't know if it was successful, but they're very weeby. They're very cool. I like Tau. They're blue. They're little Smurfs. But yeah, speaking of Smurfs, then we have humanity itself, right? So humanity, we kind of came crashing down 30,000 years or so ago. And then 10,000 years ago, a guy who called himself the God Emperor, the Emperor, you probably heard that term somewhere else because it's like very, like everyone's heard of that. He united humanity and basically began to reclaim everything we had lost. And he created something called Space Marines that were genetically enhanced superhumans, created for war, basically. So he created these Space Marines, and he started basically murdering everything else. Well, not necessarily everything else. It's a little bit unclear, but any alien threat to humanity, they annihilated. They made some allies, but mostly they just killed. And then right at the cusp of like humanity's absolute dominance over everything, the Emperor was betrayed by his most prized lieutenant. So he had created these Primarchs, right? 20 Primarchs who were created based on his genetics. And from their genetics, he created the Space Marines. So these were like super Space Marines, these guys. He had created 20 of those, but they actually got like sent, due to an accident, they got sent out all across the galaxy. So the first part of the Emperor's journey into the galaxy was to find his Primarchs. And he found 18 of them. And then 9 of them turned traitor and rebelled in what is called the Horus Heresy, which ended up with a lot of them dying, a lot of planets being lost again, and ultimately the Emperor almost dying, like being incapacitated to the point where he could not communicate. So he was put into this like life-sustaining device so he wouldn't die, because he was also an incredibly powerful psyker, which is like someone with psychic powers. And that was 10,000 years ago. And we lost a lot of ground. He was super powerful. This guy, the Emperor, very psychic powerful, possibly also immortal. But Horus was destroyed. Horus was his lieutenant, his firstborn, who the heresy was named after. And a lot of his commanders, they just kind of escaped into the warp. Because the thing is, these traitors, they were corrupted by something called chaos, which is like, well, it's chaos, right? So demons come from chaos. Demons are basically just manifestations of very strong emotions, more or less, kind of, sort of. It's a little bit unclear. And they corrupted Horus, and he became like a willing servant of chaos after a while. It's very messed up, but essentially there's also chaos Space Marines, basically. So Space Marines who have let chaos into themselves. And there's chaos everything else too. And then there's the Imperial Guard. They're basically just your regular Joe, armed with a t-shirt and a flashlight, fighting against the worst the universe has to bring to you. Now, I'm a strong supporter of humanity in general. I painted so many of their Space Marines and Imperial Guards and what have you, that I'm not painting the Tyranids. But these guys, nobody know anything about them. They've sent out a couple of tendrils from their massive hive fleet. They're a hive mind, basically. So these guys don't have any individuality. They're all controlled by hive minds. And they're created out of biomass pools. So planets will be literally stripped of all of their biomass and left an empty husk as these creatures move on to the next target. Very frightening. So yeah, it's really the term grimdark comes from in the grim darkness of the far future. There's only war, which is like the tagline for Warhammer, right? And it's a really dystopian kind of future. You don't want to live there because the Empire has become a theocracy, a theocratical fascist kind of society. I hear a bunch of whims. Death Corps of Krieg. I don't know. Yeah, Death Corps of Krieg are cool, I guess. If you're into that. No, they're cool. They're nice. I like them. But they're just one branch of Imperial Guards. But most of the ones you will see will be wearing the standard Cadian armor, as it's called. Cadia is like the archetypical Imperial Guard army, and they are very inspired by Starship Trooper armor-wise. They are basically Starship Trooper armor-wearing guys. Flak armor. Gas mask and shovel, all they need. It's true. You can actually buy normal heroic proportion Death Corps of Krieg models now. You didn't used to be able to. You would buy them in realistic proportions. Heroic proportions means that you will get bigger arms, bigger heads, bigger details, basically. You will make models that don't really look human proportion-wise, but they have details that stick out on the table. So if you get realistic proportion models and put them next to heroic proportion models, they will look weird. And that's what happened because you would used to have to buy Death Corps of Krieg from something called Forge World, which is like extra fancy models, right? and they would look weird next to other models. Cadia broke before the guard did. The IGR based, yeah, exactly. The planet was ruptured before their guard forces did. They're feeding hundreds of special humans to the Emperor's Golden Throne every day to keep him alive enough to keep the warp from fucking up everybody. Yeah, so the Emperor is still alive technically, but he can't communicate with anyone, and everyone is like super scared of what's gonna happen when/if he dies, because you traveling between planets, you have to travel through the warp, through chaos. Basically, you can't travel sub light speed. You have to travel through chaos. It's very much like Event Horizon. Have you seen that horror movie? Like you bend space basically, and you travel through the chaos realm. The problem is that space is very hard to navigate, but the Emperor is like this giant flashlight, this giant beacon of light, who shines constantly as like a guiding light for those navigators, stolen of course from Dune, who navigate the ships. So without the Emperor, nobody would be able to travel that far through the warp. So nobody wants the Emperor to die. Also, it would be scary if he died, but he's constantly kept in like perpetual death or perpetual dying, and it's very, very painful, and he's like a living corpse basically. So to keep him alive, every day thousands of other psychers, people with psychic powers, are rounded up, sent to his throne to basically have their souls consumed so he will stay alive. So yeah, that's the kind of that's the kind of world. Yeah. Best Primarch, Alari's Slayer, Bobby. Oh, actually, I've really come to like the Ultramarines ever since their #1 fanboy stopped writing for them. So there's a bunch of different chapters. You could consider Space Marines to be like space warrior monks, or like orders of Templars essentially. Space Marines they have their own. They don't have to follow the laws of the Imperium of Man. They can do whatever they want because they're essentially the Emperor's chosen warriors. Of course, I mean that really depends on them but they're basically just made for fighting, right? And so they all have different traditions and different ways of doing things. Some of them, they consider humans a little more than just a nuisance. Others will die to save planets of humans. They're way above what a normal human would be capable of. So they're like superhuman. They're post-humans. So it's a very interesting setting with a lot of potential for epic wars and people sacrificing themselves for like a great cause. And I think it appeals to a lot of people because there's this saying, right? We were born too late to explore the world, too early to explore the stars. There are no great wars to fight in, the classic, Fight Club thing. So I think a lot of people, myself included, are just kind of find a lot of appeal in the setting of 40k because it's like it's a safe power fantasy kind of thing. So I mean, I don't hold it against people if they kind of glorify it a little bit, but let's be clear, it's a horrible world to live in. Like it is the worst. It is absolutely the worst place to be in. And his only saving grace is that there's some cool technology, and if you're really rich, you generally don't have to worry about stuff. There's paradise planets and that kind of stuff. But it's a fun setting. They made some really cool RPGs that I enjoy, like tabletop RPGs. They made some real banger computer games. Space Marine is amazing. Space Marine 2 is coming soon. Bolt Gun is this first-person retro shooter, very Doom-esque, where you play a Space Marine. There's just generally a lot of really cool stuff made in the setting. And I mean, there's like 30 or 40 years of lore that's gone into this game. It's evolved over time, but yeah, there's just a lot of cool stuff. I like Warhammer. I don't much care for fantasy that much. If you've played, what's it called, Vermintide, that is Warhammer Fantasy. And then there's also Warhammer Age of Sigmar, which we shall not speak about. But I've always been a 40k guy. I like that. The male fantasy of fighting hordes of incomprehensible horrors to safeguard humanity against encroaching darkness. Exactly. It's such an abstract, like it's literally the safest kind of war fantasy you can have, because you're just fighting against stuff that absolutely wants to kill you. They just want to consume and destroy you. There is no talking with these aliens. There is no peacemaking. They do not want peace. They want the full annihilation of humanity. And I think that's like cool. But I think it's very, very different from real war, very, very different from reality. It's a safe kind of like is a safe way to glorify war, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think necessarily war should be glorified, but if you're gonna do it, I think 40k is a good outlet for it. But it has its problematic fans. Dawn of War series is really good too. It's a real-time strategy game series, very fun to play. Always been a huge fan of Dawn of War. Excellent, stellar voice acting too. Very cool voice acting. So yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm doing things a little bit different. I'm doing the dark green first, because now I know I want to have it this way. Then I'm going to dry brush some. So dry brushing, I'll just very briefly cover that. Dry brushing is when you take a little bit of, or actually rather a lot of paint on your brush, and then you wipe most of it off, or you like wipe your brush so it becomes very dry. You remove the moisture from the brush, and by doing that, you're just stuck with the pigments. And then you very quickly brush that, or loosely brush that over the model, and you get an effect that looks very light. You get like an edge highlight that looks very organic, which is exactly what you want from these kind of models. It's not great to draw like some metal. Generally, if you want to Dawn of War stream when, oh god, I have too little time to stream all that I want to stream. But generally, a good rule of thumb is if you want to do metal, you want to start with a black base coat, just black, and then dry brush bolt gun metal on it, and you're done. You want to dry brush black with metal. That's a good way of doing weapons, because you get natural shading with it. And it looks cinematic. It doesn't look super realistic. Play Dark Crusade's campaign. Dark Crusade, isn't that the last one? Isn't that the one with Space Marines? We will die for the Emperor's honor. That's like the worst one. I love Winter Assault. Winter Assault is when you play as Imperial Guard. Really good game. We die standing. That's what the Emperor wants of us. We fight for his honor. No, that's Soulstorm. Okay. I prefer the older ones with more of a big plot going on. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a good strategy game player in general, so I mostly play those games for the story, which I thought was very good. And then it became like more like Heroes of Might and Magic-esque, which made the story take a little bit of a backseat, and that's fine. Like that's okay. But it was a story that I really liked with Dawn of War. And then you have Dawn of War 2, which is not as good. I'll just say that. It's not as good. Sorry for not showing more of my painting process, by the way. It's kind of hard. I'm trying to do it like this. And what I'm doing now is, because my shitty brushwork spilled out over the rest of the model, I'm correcting it, because you got a base coat of Wraithbone. This color's name is Wraithbone. And Wraithbone is like a really good egg white that makes for a good kind of base warm white to have underneath everything. If you want warmer tones in your model, you go with this one. Otherwise, Corax white, I believe, is the more cold white. There's a lot of color theory in this painting, which I appreciate a lot. I have a lot of paints, but most of them have dried out. I can show that off at the end of the stream. Anyone who ever tried to paint models understand how hard it must be to paint with a camera setup. Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare, but it's a lot of fun. I get to talk to people. I used to paint a lot with my friends when I was younger. Sadly, now we all have jobs and lives, so the amount of times we get together is severely limited. We mostly just role play. We have this custom setting that we've been working on over the years. We've been working on this setting for like 10 years now. It's like Discworld's Ankh-Morpork. If you're familiar with Discworld, very good, very funny book series, which is like a satire fantasy franchise that like plays with modern concepts in a fantasy setting, and it's combination of that and the City of Lies of Loch Lamora, like an ultra-capitalistic merchant city ruled by a Venetian elite, which happen to be elves. And their political scheming tend to go out over the populace. It's a very interesting setting, because it's literally if you have money, anything goes. And it's evolved over time. It used to have like a citizen system, which was exploited into basic slavery, and then someone burned the register over all the citizens, So they abolished that, and then money became like the sign of success. And then like it's very cool. We've been playing that for a very long time. We were planning to release a book for that setting, but we never really got around to it. But the documentation alone is like 6 gigs of pictures and text describing the setting. So yeah, I'm more of a role player than a figure painter. I absolutely detest the game Warhammer, the model game, the miniature game. I hate it. It's pointless and stupid, and I'm too dumb to understand it, which is mostly the reason I don't like it. But no, I prefer the painting aspect of it. I find that it's very relaxing, although I admit I'm so old right now that my joints start hurting after a while, so it's no good. Yeah, now we're just kind of covering up all the stuff that I accidentally painted over. So now we got his basic plating on. I should have probably not done this. I like to work outwards inwards, which every guide I've read by GW itself says work in to out. You want to do the outer details last. I don't believe in that. I really don't believe in that. It's time. Oh no, thank you for moisturizing me. Thank you. Oh, gotta stretch. Oh, I'm in a hobby for 4 years and never played a single game. Yeah, you don't want that. I have a friend. Let me tell you about my friend or ex-friend. I'll tell you about my ex-friend because he's not my friend anymore. Not because we're not friends anymore. Just we don't hang. He's played orcs his entire life. Okay, while we're waiting for this guy to settle down to finish drying, I'm just gonna put these guys in the background here. I'll change the focus, right? So you guys can look at him while I'm talking. Okay, so this guy, he's been playing orcs since first edition of Warhammer 40k. And to give you guys some context of that, Warhammer is on his 10th edition now, or 9th edition 40k, 9th or 10th, I don't really know. He's been 2nd edition actually. He started playing 2nd edition a long time ago, and he's always played orcs. Now, the orc trucks, vehicles, they used to be pretty small. They used to be kind of small, and the orc models in them were very tiny. I mean, they were about as tall, a little taller than this guy. Now, the modern trucks, they are like, let me move over here. They're like this tall, at least. Very, very tall vehicles. So they're very visible. However, my friend, he refuses to buy new models. So he plays with these old orc trucks that are super, super tiny, so nobody can ever see them. And then he will like, and the drivers of these trucks, they're smaller than this guy. Orcs are supposed to be a little bit bigger. So that's cheese. In my opinion, that's cheese. But it's legal to still use old models, right? So he's very, and he has played, he's played like a million games in his head. He's unbeatable. So this one time I was playing against him, and I lucked out because I rolled really, really well, and I was actually, he vastly underestimates me because I suck. He actually knows exactly how good I am. He wasn't ready for it, so I wiped out almost all of his orcs, and it's round 5, right? No, it's round 4. And at round 5 you had to re-roll to see if you get a round 5. So we get a round 5. He's only got his leader left, his orc boss. And the objective of the match is not to kill each other, although if one side kills the other, that player wins. No, the objective is to get to an objective at the end of the game. And it's my turn, round 5. I didn't manage to kill his orc boss. Everything else I killed. And I had a huge numerical advantage over him. I had way more miniatures than he had. He disengaged to combat and moves his war boss onto the objective and wins the game. This one time I am even remotely close to winning, and he's playing as orcs. Now, if anyone here would know that there's nothing more un-orcish than taking your orcs out of combat. Orcs don't run from combat. Well, I mean, they can run, but they love war. They love fighting. So going, you know what? I'm actually not gonna die fighting. I'm gonna take the objective. I'm the last orc here. No war boss would ever do that. No war boss would ever do that. And after he did that to me, I swore never again to play Warhammer 40k. Because, yeah, flavor fail, automatic loss. Exactly. Automatic loss. Thank you, Albani. You understand. I was so upset. He wouldn't even let me get that 1W. No. He had to win. And I realized then that half of the group, we were there to hang with each other. The other half of the group, they were there to beat the other half of the group every time. They had more fun beating the rest of us than anything else. Why even bother? So yeah, I just kind of stopped then. It was, I'm still bitter about it. I'm still salty about it. I'm not gonna apologize for it because that was, yeah, he's a weirdo. He's obsessed with winning. He gets, if he ever loses, he gets so angry. You can tell. He starts sulking. And I'm used to losing. I just don't want to lose to him anymore. Orcs are there to entertain. Look at me roll a dozen dice. That all means that stuff will go wonky. Winning is only an accident for orc player. Exactly. If you want to play, if you want to have, like, I don't mind losing, but I want to have fun. I don't want to play bloody serious competition tournament rules. I played in one tournament and I didn't want to win a single match out of 3 matches. One game ended on the first run because the guy I was playing against was playing white scars, and he let me deploy first. He didn't deploy anything, came in with jump packs and motorcycles in the first round, and destroyed all of my units. First round, first action loss. Actually, I got to play the first round, and since he didn't have any models on the table, I couldn't do anything, and then he just dropped in and he killed everything. That was fun. Snarky, you're absolutely right. Like 99% of all orc players will have that attitude. I consider myself an orc player. I have a decently sized group of orcs. But that guy, man, I'm gonna say I think that was his only W. I think that was his only win. That was the only thing he had going for him. And I think that, I know that sounds mean, but I think he couldn't handle getting beaten in that, which is where he was the best. And I guess I can understand it. I'm not going to fault him for that. Or actually, I am going to fault him for that, because that's like, he couldn't let me get 1W. Not one. I don't want to pay against friends because I modify my models so hard that they are not tournament or even store legal. I mean, the amount of times I've played with like Coke cans, and I mean, I played at a place that carved out, they carved out like from styrofoam tanks, which was actually really good because tanks are pretty expensive models to buy. So that was really nice to be able to experiment a bunch of stuff with that. But I didn't sit up late at night experimenting with lists. But these guys did. They would literally constantly check the meta on Bolter and Chainsword. They would constantly be like, yeah, you know, this is cool against, this is good against that. And when we played 6th edition, or as I like to call it, Tank Edition, tanks were incredibly broken. Vehicles were so broken. They were so broken. Like, they were incredibly difficult to destroy outright, right? So what you did was you got a bunch of cheap rhinos, which is the transport vehicle, and you used them as mobile cover for your troops. And that essentially meant that the guy who played the Chaos Marines, he won every single game. And the guy who played the Orcs won every single game because they had more vehicles than everyone else, because they had played longer. So I played Imperial Guard at the time. This was before the whole, before the 1W debacle. I ended up buying 5 Bane Wolves, not Bane Blades, but Bane Wolves with plasma, with Melta guns, because that was the only way to break through tanks reliably. I think it's 6th or 7th edition. And I hated it because I don't like vehicles. I don't like painting vehicles. And I don't like it. I had over 100 foot soldiers painted, Imperial Guards, and I couldn't use them. Then go play Custodes or Drakari if you want to be the best. Yeah. Actually, if I remember correctly, it's Eldari who are kind of busted. Why playing Orcs if you can't handle having your own face blown up by your own guns? Exactly. He never used any of those models. Orcs have a lot of models that are very unreliable. They're just kind of fucky. He never played with any of those. Never. That was fun. And when I say that was fun, I say that was annoying. And he would always have this like awkward smirk on his face. God, just thinking about it makes me Makes me angry. He really got me good. He would always have a little smirk on his face, the fucker. So I'm glad we're not playing anymore. And I think the last thing I did with him, we had like a Christmas gift exchange, and I bought him a new orc truck. I bought him a truck. I'm like, hey, because he would often say, why should I buy new models when I can still use my old ones? And I mean, yeah, okay, I get it. But like, dude, they're not even a quarter the size of the new trucks. At some point, you can't just keep pretending that you're not cheesing the game. It was frustrating. It was so frustrating. Like, we never used any cool, flavorful models because they always sucked, because the meta was against them. Like, it was just a bad time. So I just decided if I ever get into Warhammer again, I will play any of the other games, Gorka Morka. Although actually, no, I don't play Gorka Morka because, again, same guy. Gorka Morka is like a kind of a wrestling game with cars, if I should describe it in any way. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, this is good. This is good. But yeah, that's my trauma. I just finished trauma dumping on everyone. I'm so sorry, but I don't have it in me. I don't have the patience for Warhammer in general. It's also way too reliant on luck, which I know I said very early in the stream, so I don't believe in luck, but it's too. I think a lot of it is reliant on chance and rolling with the chance, rolling with failure. So it's about like making sure that if something fails, you have a backup plan, and if that fails, you have a backup plan for the backup plan, and so forth and so on. And I don't think like that. I don't have the brains for that. I'm dumb. I may sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I am dumb as a brick. My thighs are too thick. My skull is too thick. Built like a brick. It's Ranma. Never got to play 40k. I usually just watch. I don't have the money for 40k. I already got Cardboard Crack edition. Cardboard Crack? Oh, Magic. Yeah, man. I feel for you. At least Warhammer, you only got to buy the stuff once. Magic is just like that's literal crack cocaine right there. I am so sorry. But I mean, hopefully you enjoy it. So that's something. And I mean, I have friends who are into horses. I have friends whose dad, one of my friends' dad is into veteran cars. Let me tell you, when you hear how much money they put into their hobbies, you're like, you know what? Miniature painting, not that bad. Not that bad, not that expensive. Yeah, Warhammer also has 3D printing now. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean, you shouldn't, but you're a Gnostic luck atheist. I'm convinced in my belief that I don't have any luck. I mean, I said very early on, because this is also going to be like an occult stream a little bit. We talk a bit about occult things. I don't believe in fate. I don't believe in luck. But I do believe in the power of belief. And I do believe very strongly that I subconsciously nerf myself by expecting poor results. Or just generally not. I think it's a confidence thing. I very easily lose my cool when I'm playing against someone, and then it just spirals. I mean, if you watch my collab with Charlie and Coppa and Basil, I lose my cools very easily. I get very screamy. I get very nervous, and that is not good. That is no good. I legitimately think that getting into like Blood Bowl, for example, Blood Bowl is a really good side. Oh, they have board games too. They have some board games that are really well made with like individual unique models, and that's perfectly fine. Like if you wanna get into miniature painting but you don't have a budget for it, those things are good alternatives. I mean, they're still gonna cost you an arm and a leg, but they're not gonna cost you 2 arms and 2 legs. You know, they're fine. Okay, this guy's. I mean, I got some green on his arm that I don't feel like fixing, but yeah, let's let him dry up. And then we'll get to dry brushing the armor. He was shilling it ridiculously hard. That sucks. I mean, their job is basically to sell you stuff. Look at these guys. Look at them getting along. You know, you don't need a brain when you have a hive mind. Let me just check something for real quick. Loo, 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 I got some apples. Loo, 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 I got some too. Loo, loo, loo. Okay, I'm gonna... I've been feeling a weird pressure on my chest the last couple of days. And I'll be honest, at this point, I think it might have something to do... Oh my god, wait, no, that green should not be there. Oh boy, I thought I had a little bit of green on him. Turns out, I had quite a lot of green on him that I didn't see. So, yeah, you see this? His elbow right here. Let me see if I can... His elbow right here. No good. We're gonna have to cover some of that up. You don't pay that much, to be fair. I will pick up a box every now and then, buy some other products I like a pre-made deck. My friends were fine with proxy nowadays. I mostly play with TTS. Yeah, TTS is a godsend. I play Darkest Dungeon. I play Gloomhaven. I play Gloomhaven. I just started, and Kingdom Death with some buddies of mine. We started playing over New Year's Eve, but you know, New Year's Eve got a little bit of a time in between. So I got super into TTS to play with them. No, we can actually dry brush his armor now while we're waiting. Hopefully we won't get a brush wet with the light brownish green. You know, I really like this color scheme. I think it stands out really well. The yellowish green has a good brightness to it, so you can see all the details. And dark green, really, I'm vibing. I'm liking this. This is a good color scheme. I'm happy with it. I tend not to find good color schemes easily. I try to paint Crimson. No, Imperial Fists. Oh, this is way too much. Way too much. I'm gonna have to be more careful here. Yeah, this is... I'm gonna have to do a very light layer of some green over this to make it less... Oh boy. I'm very bad at dry brushing. I'm very heavy-handed. So... a lot of my painting is basically just going over again the thing I just painted and fixing it. Which, you know, takes way more time than it has to. Really doesn't need to be as complex as I meant to make it look. Yeah, see here, with the claws, you get like a nice... I mean, it's out of focus now, but you get like a nice kind of grainy edge to it, which works really well with bone in general. And bone and hooves. That's one of the best places to dry brush things, to be honest. Skin, not so much. I think skin you wanna do maybe layering and have like more natural shadows. You wanna work on like pools of color with skin. But for bone and ridges and stuff like that, absolutely you wanna go dry brush. It's easy-ish. It looks fine. And you get like a little, oh yeah, because it gets lighter on the edges, right? Which is exactly what you want with carapace and ridges like this. You want it to have like a lighter edge to really drive home that it's hardening-ish bone, sorta, I guess. Yeah, this is looking great. I really want to make a Tyranid scheme with color shift paints, but I don't know how to make the rest of it because I also really want to make Tyranids that look like they're affected by cordyceps fungi. Yeah, oh, that would be cool. That would be really based. I love cordyceps. I was speaking with Alien Fungus a little while back. She's really cool. She's super into fungi. I'm also super into fungi. I'm scared of them. I think they're horrifying, but I'm also super into things I find scary. So, you know, it's a good trade-off. I blame it on watching Species when I was way too young. And some neurons were crossed that should perhaps not have been crossed. So, you know, that stuff, man, it's great. I'm into it. And yeah, cordyceps are cool. I will outright admit though, I'm not a fan of Naughty Dog. I'm not a fan of the Last of Us. I think those games get far more undeserved praise. Far more praise than they deserve, rather. Not a fan, and especially not a fan of the ending of the first one, which I strongly disliked. It's a movie. You're watching a movie, and occasionally you have to go up to the TV and fast forward the movie because it stops on its own. That's how I feel about that game. Okay, I think he didn't get quite as dark spots. Oh, thank you, Mon. Thank you. Thank you for the humidifying. Do I have a Discord server? I do not actually have that. I don't have a Discord server. Thank you, Mon. Thank you for moisturizing me. Nom, 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 nom. But yeah, what was I saying? I don't have a Discord server. I don't know if I should get one. I feel like might be a little unnecessary. I'm not really that big. And unfortunately, there's been some really bad drama. Like, what happened was, I can probably talk about this because Harry mentioned it on his Twitter. I was invited to Haru's server, and I was hanging there, and there were some people dropping by, and Haru went to bed, and they seemed weird but okay, you know. And then they started posting some really nasty stuff, gore videos, really like violent stuff, people blowing their heads off. Sorry for just really gross stuff. Discord can be fucking horrible. I had some really bad experiences myself. Yeah. I feel like it gives you a lot of responsibilities. Yeah, I feel really bad for Haru because he was asleep. There was nothing he could do about it. And I reported them to Discord. Like every single post, I reported them to Discord. And nothing happened, right, for the longest time. And they were posting all kinds of weird stuff. So I blocked both of them, and then I just made tried to make like an announcement, an ad here for the Discord, like, hey everyone, be careful, these two are posting really graphic gore videos. Like, I got a pit in my stomach watching that stuff. I guess I'm a little sensitive. I don't really know, but like I felt really bad watching that stuff. And then they started deleting it, which, I mean, good for the channel, but those things are still there. They're in the log. Like any mod can like go in there and look at it if they want to. And then, I don't know, I think they might have been banned off the server, but like that just went like, oh man, the fucking hassle, sorry for cursing, the hassle of having a server and having to like keep your eyes alert for that kind of stuff, like, sounds horrible. Like, I guess if you have mods who are willing to help you out with it, but I don't know if I would have anyone who'd be willing to do that. And also, again, I feel like, kind of weird. I'm going to post it on my Twitter though. I'm gonna post the pictures on my Twitter, my Zitter. Sorry, my Zitter is Kuku Kaeru VT, same as my Twitch name, and I don't really have a tag for these paintings, but I'll maybe try to think of one. Man, I am actually genuinely really happy with this color scheme. I know I keep saying that, but I really because I was imagining like I want something that looks a bit froggy. And I was thinking just a little bit more green. This is a little bit too yellow, really. It looks more like a toad. But it's fine. They work really well with each other. I really like it. I'm very, very happy with this color scheme. If anyone wants to keep up with me, they come to my stream. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you, man. I mean, I'm old school. I'm a very old person. So I'm a little... I generally never really liked chat rooms. Like, I grew up with PHP BB forums. I grew up with very... tightly knit small communities. Like I belong to one or two, and I would be like a different person in every community. Like I wouldn't be Kuku Kaeru in one community and then Kuku Kaeru in another, because for me it was like, yeah, okay, maybe some people will cross over, but I have this community, I have this group of friends, I have this group of friends, I have this group of friends. Not that I would have like different usernames necessarily, but I wouldn't feel a need to be like, yeah, everyone I know have to be at all the same places as me. It was more like, yeah, this is a little group of people who enjoy role-playing, I'll hang with them. Here's a group of people who are into, I don't know, Chrono Trigger, I'll hang with them. Or they were like sub-forums. I would be on forums and there would be people I never talked to there. So, chats are a little bit scary to me, I think. Yeah, bring back forum, elderly. Yeah, I'm very old. I'm old, I'm a hag. You need to join 50 discords and sift through so much to find just one answer. Absolutely. I mean, there's a reason that Boltgun and Chainsword is still around, that community. It's like my go-to place if I want to read up on anything 40k, generally. So I appreciate those people for keeping it real. And like, I don't want to be an alarmist, but the amount of websites that are frequented by people are becoming less and less and less. There's a huge centralization of power online by corporations, no, by companies. Like, a lot of people are like, well, Twitter is a free platform. No, it's not. It's owned by a company. They can do whatever they want. You don't have the right to free speech on Twitter. You have the rights you signed up on. And you're also not paying for it. And a good rule of thumb, and I think this is a given, everyone knows this, a good rule of thumb is if you're not paying for a service, you are the product. I don't trust like that. I certainly don't trust TikTok. I mean, I'm posting my videos on TikTok, but I know what they're shilling me. They don't know that much about me. They know my age, they know my they know my geographical location, and they know my sex, right? Yes, please. So what do I see? Every time I log into TikTok, I get videos where people are fighting me, police officers. And I go into my little brain and I go like, okay, why would this constantly be recommended to me just because I'm Swedish? And maybe I'm paranoid, maybe it's nothing, but I'm thinking, hey, you know what? You know what's a current trend right now? Sowing discord, right? Causing people to dislike each other. Yeah, Chinese spyware. If you want to ruin your competition, you don't declare war on them. You make them declare war on themselves. Now this is, yeah, centralization and monopolies are evil. I agree. And I mean, I come from a country where, okay, I do believe that the monopoly on selling hard alcohol is good. It works in Sweden, I think. But I think our alcohol culture makes it a necessity. Because when we drink to become drunk. We don't really have the Southern European kind of like, yeah, you just have a couple of drinks. It's changing. My generation is a little bit more like that, and I don't know how young your generation is, but yeah, drama sells. Everything is negative online, absolutely. But I think absolutely, if I wanted to sow discord in a country, I'd make them fight each other. You don't got to do anything. It's very, very cheap to create a troll factory. It's very, very cheap to have a couple of guys with fake like puppet. Sock puppet accounts, sock puppet accounts, just spewing hatred. And a lot of people, it's confirmation bias. They'll be like, yeah, look, this guy is also saying it, so that must mean it's true. And then there you go. You're playing right into it. That's why generally I just avoid news online. I still relatively well trust printed media or like established media a bit. Pretty sure they're gonna lie to me. But I at least know they're not owned by China yet. But algorithms will push negative news. Absolutely. They want to make you worried. They want to make you feel bad. Because someone who's worried and feel bad will not make rational decisions. And will want for safety. Will want for assurance. And a lot of us were raised on the idea that buying stuff makes us happy, right? So I noticed that whenever I'm feeling down, I feel like, oh, I should treat myself with this, I should treat myself with that, I should get this. And, no, I don't need to do that. I need to sleep, I need to find myself, I need to centralize myself, channel my chakras, give some time to myself, sort things out mentally. That's what I need. I don't need to buy a console that I'm never going to use. I don't need to buy a bunch of really, really, really expensive miniatures with the company's own paint, because of course they should know the paint that's best for their own models. Of course, not referring to anything in specific. Don't worry about it. Also, by the way, if you hear me putting something in my mouth, it's me licking my brush, because saliva really binds the what are they called? The little hairs together. Now this paint, not exactly healthy for you, but it used to be worse. I always use that as an excuse. It used to be worse. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually painting some wraith bone here on this guy's arm, because there was green there and it bothered me. It was a dark green. Didn't want that. The paint is super yummy and toxic. Based saliva painter, exactly. I just want to nibble at the collars. It's true. It's true. No, like if you want to get a good point with your brush, you put it in your mouth. There you go. Otherwise, like a lot of people like roll them on stuff. I don't do that. Angry old man always. These pantsy millennials don't know what it's like to lick a brush full of lead paint. Exactly. Also, old glue, man. Old Warhammer glue. You needed to do that in a ventilated area, or you would have a lot of fun. It was a bad time for everyone involved. Okay, let me just kind of get some more green on here, some more yellow green. I'm gonna call it the yellow green. Okay, so what's some of y'all's favorite TV shows? What kind of stuff do you like to watch? Or I guess you don't call them mwah, the brush, right, Tatora? How you doing, by the way? Mwah. Super glue instead of PVA to make a whole base and fill in the bar. Oh my god, super glue. A friend of mine actually got super glue in his eyes once. That was not fun. That was a bad time. People still watch TV. I don't. Tutorial, for 1 second I peed on the bed looking at clips from a stream. You want to know a really good Tyranid basing secret? Absolutely. Let me know. I want to hear all about your secrets. Impregnate my brussy with your seeds of knowledge. Nailed it. My brussy. My brainusy. Here we go. Okay. It's coming along. This guy's looking good. You sent your mom some clips? Man, I am so jealous. My mom, I showed her Gargura, and she was like, "Are you still a virgin?" Like, Mom, first of all, that's none of your business. Bork. She's happy to be part of your life. Man, I wish my mom was that supportive. She tries, bless her soul, but she had a rough life. And she has her priorities. Trying to chew up your family. I should have shown her Callie, right? It was my mistake. I showed her Gura. My mom would obviously not be into Gura. Callie though, white trash. That's the only thing we need. I'm not really a Callie fan. I don't mind Callie. I actively not a big fan of Kiara. I think Kiara is probably a really nice person, but she has that energy, you know. She has that energy. If you know, you know. I don't think I could sustain a conversation with Callie with Kiara for very long. But Callie, I think I could chill with her. I think our interests probably wouldn't mesh that much. On the other hand, she ran role-playing games with the rest of the Holo EN, which, you know, based. I am surprised that the World of Darkness, the people behind Vampire the Masquerade, didn't do much more with that. They had a really good opportunity there to do some collaborative stuff. I don't know if they did, but man, they missed out. Your mom and me had a period of time where we didn't interact much. She really wants to get back to me. Also, my mom, the most open-minded person in the world. That is really sweet, Totora. That's really sweet, and I'm glad for you. My mom is slowly opening up a little bit. After she divorced her previous husband, not my father, she had a long period of healing, and after that, she's been kind of cool. She's been okay. We talk more, but like, she's the kind of person who would be like, there's nothing wrong with my family. If I go like, hey mom, I'm depressed, she's like, no, nonsense, you're perfect. You know, that kind of person. So I like to taunt her about things a little bit. These times, some playful ribbing. Hey mom, did you know I make $300 more a month than you do? Yeah, she's kind of complicated. She's sweet, but yeah, money is the only language she understands. And every single time I finished like a course at university, I'd be like, "Hey mom, I finished this course." She's like, "Good. When are you gonna start making money?" I was like, "Well, soon." And she's like, "Mm-hmm." I was living on my own, by the way. I was making money. I was working part-time while studying, mind you. I wasn't reliant on her or my dad that much. I had to borrow money sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, because I was bad with money. But yeah, she has an ADHD. Shake my head. Yeah, you know what? if your potential ADHD is a problem for you, get it tested. If it's not, don't. Because what's a diagnosis going to do to you? I have a diagnosis. I'm diagnosed. I have anxiety. I have GAD. I have general anxiety disorder, and I have autism. I diagnosed myself. I got a diagnosis when I was an adult, and I wanted to get it because I struggle a lot with like performance anxiety. Like, I never feel like what I do is good enough. I never feel like I can be happy with anything I've done. My achievements don't mean anything to me. I just want more, right? I just need one more view. I just need one more friend. I just need one better painted miniature. And that's a very unhealthy way of living, which of course I'm aware of. So I decided to get myself tested, and GAD. For a variety of reasons, and I'm taking meds. I'm taking antidepressants, a small dosage, but it's really been helping me out. Okay, so Tora, sorry, fucking me hard. Autism gang, rise up. Exactly. Like, I'm high functioning. I'm very good at masking. The worst part is that a lot of my coping mechanisms are very appreciated by my boss, who really likes how very alert I am to risks. I tend to run risk calculations a lot. So that's a really good ability I have, which of course wrecks me, because I see risks and dangers everywhere. But it has helped me in my career, so I guess, that's cool. Okay, now we're all broken goods. Yeah, we're all broken goods. It's true. Use the autism as a strength somehow a bit, at least. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, my diagnosis isn't going to change who I am, and the amount of medication I take is only really, it's only really preventing me from getting really riled up. I would get very stressed out, very flushed. I very easily blush. I become beet red. It's kind of funny, actually. And I would get super flushed, really nervous. Stumble over my words, anxious, feel like everyone hates me. I'm really paranoid by default, and I don't know if I'm like clinically paranoid or if it's just another symptom of my anxiety, but I have abandonment issues, absolutely. So that's something that my medication really thankfully helps with. But I've been lately, like, I'm not gonna lie, the last couple of days, there's been some stuff that's really been bringing down my mood. I'm not gonna go into detail, other than there's some people out there who don't like me, and I'll leave it at that. But I'm not bothered by people not liking me or not liking my content or not liking my design. That's fine. Like, there's plenty of people out there whose design and content I'm not a fan of. But what really bothers me is that there's been a lot of like, Kuku said this, or Kuku did that, or Kuku doesn't like these people, or Kuku has been mean, or Kuku's, he's secretly hating this person or whatever. And I think it's unfair to get other people involved, and I don't like it when people spread lies about others like that. I don't do it. I never liked it, obviously, and I think it's a really nasty way to be mean to someone else. A really sneaky, underhanded, kind of nasty way. It's been bothering me a lot. I had a lot of nightmares last night. I wasn't really able to sleep that well. And now, most of the day, I've been having chest pains, which is usually a symptom that my anxiety's physical symptoms are rearing their head, but not the psychological symptoms, if that makes any sense. Hi, Schwa, my beloved. How you doing? Oh, hold on. Let me catch up. Do you also get told you overuse it as an excuse whenever you try to explain to people that you just don't understand some things right away because of it? I have very understanding colleagues, very, very nice and understanding colleagues. I don't even bother with my family. My sister gets it. She actually told my mom, like, yeah, I knew it. My sister's cool. I like her a lot. We're very different. But I don't usually. I'm so used to masking that I generally. I'm the kind of person who goes like, yeah, I'll do it myself. I don't want to be praised. I just want to do my own thing. All this kind of thing. So I don't often have to. Like, if I struggle with something, I won't say anything. I'll just work on it myself when I have the time, when I have free time. It's a lot of late nights reading up on things. Reading books I love reading books, but it's also an absolute nightmare because my brain will wander, or I won't even understand the phrasing. It helps when I read things out loud for myself. It's kind of a miracle that I'm a language teacher, to be honest. I work at a community college teaching young adults, basically, or young adults, or like people my own age even. Well, it's a really interesting kind of different system. Okay, cool. I added some yellow to this guy's head. That turned out pretty okay. Complicated. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Don't worry about it, Totora. Like, yeah, absolutely. If it's ever a bother to you, or you're worried that you're like making things difficult for yourself, get yourself tested. Having a good time. Oh, I'm glad you're having a good time. That makes me happy. Yeah, I'm having a great time. I've been streaming for 3.5 hours almost. Jesus. Well, we did finish this guy a lot faster than the other one. He's almost finished. We just need to do his eyes. Trick is to just be constantly worried and depressed. Once this defaults, it can only go up. Exactly. I used to be the Eeyore of all my friend group. I'd be like, well, if you don't expect anything good to happen, then you'll always be pleasantly surprised. Sadly enough, that's not a very healthy way to live your life. But yeah, I teach English and Japanese, but I haven't taught Japanese ever. I'm technically allowed to teach it. You almost become an art teacher. You should have. That's cool. Art teaching, however, art is generally a subject that's very, I wouldn't say discriminated against, but very low prioritized by a lot of schools, which is sad. Do I have fun teaching, Wand? Absolutely. I love teaching. The best thing about teaching is that it's very unpredictable. And it's just the kind of unpredictability I need in my life, because I'm often very good at thinking on my feet. And I can, like, teaching allows me to constantly reinvent the way I work, which is very stimulating as far as jobs go, because I really don't like doing the same thing over and over. I'm starting to loosen up a little bit because I'm using some of my old lesson material, but teaching is a really good way to like learn something yourself. If you want to learn something, the best way to do it is to try to teach it to someone else, because you have to explain things in a way that your brain goes like, okay, how do I explain this in a way that makes sense? And obviously it would have to make sense to your brain, so you'll automatically think of a way to explain it and to like summarize it for yourself, which is really what you want to do. So if you're ever struggling with something, try to make like a PowerPoint presentation on whatever. You'll learn a lot more, because your brain is going to be like, okay, how do I condense this information into something manageable? And immediately different parts of your brain start working, and you'll have an easier time learning it. It's really how we work as human beings, I think. Like just reading things in a book, some people work well with that. I don't. I prefer to teach it. If I teach it, I have to take it seriously. I have to actually learn it myself. And it puts your brain in a entirely different mood. Yes, students don't give a fuck. That's why I work with adults who in adult education, because I could never blame a kid. I used to work with younger people, but it was very stressful. They're very difficult. But mostly it's a very difficult and demanding job in general. But I would never be able to blame a young person for not wanting to go to school, because they have to. It's not by choice. And I think that actually makes learning a lot harder for a lot of people, because they have to learn it, right? If you don't have to learn something, it's a lot more fun to learn it. I like to study on my free time. I try to study some microbiology. I study languages. I'm learning the Hebrew alphabet. I like all that kind of stuff. It's more fun if you're doing it, on your own. If you're doing it because you want to do it, right? Whenever I need to study for school, I prefer explaining it to someone else. That's why we have rubber ducking. In programming, rubber ducking is like a very well-established method of doing something. You have to explain the problem to a rubber duck. And by explaining the problem, you activate other parts of your brain, which will help you solve the situation. That's why I always say, if you're going to read something, try to also find an audiobook for it. That will help with your immersion and help you stay focused on what you're reading. Never just watch or never just read if you can. Watch and read and listen. It definitely aids in memorization and learning. But we're also very obsessed with memorization, which I don't think is what we need to be good at. We need to be good at discerning important. We need to be able to distinguish good facts from bad facts, I guess. we need to be able to rationally compare statements and be like, okay, how realistic is this statement? How likely is it that this thing is true? Do I choose to believe in it? And that's the kind of time we're living in, to be honest. Like, people can freely choose what they believe in, much more than we've had to do in a long time. And I think it's very damaging to our cohesion as a society in general. Like, Metal Gear Solid 2 predicted it really well. Really well. I could have never judged, but I would still have been sad. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, you feel bad for the kids, right? You feel bad for them for having to be there, even if they don't want to. And everyone is coping with it differently. You see, like, yeah, Kojima is always right. Everyone has different ways of coping with this. But, like, a lot of students who act out or who can't be bothered, they don't know how to do it. They're not adults. They're not grown. Evangelion pretty all, absolutely. But yeah, students, they are, young people are not adults. They should not be treated as adults. They should be respected and given, given their rights. I dropped the brush on the floor. Hold on. You should always treat young people with respect. Well, as much respect as they give you, but even more respect because, I mean, they're young people. But they are not adults. They are not adults. And that is a very important distinction to make. You can't be ironic up until a certain age because young people just haven't developed an ability to understand irony. You can't be you can't like assume that they know everything. You can't like make fun of someone if they don't know. And one thing I learned the most is you have to be fair. You can be bad at your subject. You can be silly or stupid as a teacher, but you have to be fair. If you are willing to admit if you make something wrong, if you make a mistake to your students, if you can stand before people aged 13, 14 and be like, hey guys, I messed up. I was wrong. I accused you of doing this, or I didn't listen when you guys said this, or I've been giving you way too much work to do. My bad. I'm here to help you learn, not to help you get anxious. If you're willing to admit, to show some weakness, you will get a lot of respect. This is for teenagers. I think younger age is a little bit difficult. But it also shows that even adults can mess up. And I think that's really important to establish that kind of understanding, because otherwise, like, I mean, life is full of failure. You learn more from failure. You improve through failure. You don't learn anything from success, right? Oh yeah, you did it right. Good job. It's very, very hard to give good feedback to someone who succeeds really well with your assignment. I'm like, good job. I really like the comparison you did there. Like, I can absolutely reinforce the positive stuff, but when you don't do something well, and you realize that, your brain will be like, okay, what didn't I do well? You will have a lot more to analyze and reflect upon. I think all 3.5 hours, that's a good enough stream. Here's the two guys we finished. I'm gonna say, pretty happy with the results. I'm gonna move them a little bit like here. Wait, which one? This is the last guy I painted. I put some more dark green on him because I wanted to make him look a little bit more like the older model. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. Sono. Oh, thank you, Lulu. Lulu, I got some apples. Lulu, you got some too. But yeah, this is. I'm usually not this chill and relaxed. I think. I don't know. But I can prata svenska. Tack så jättemycket allihopa för att ni kom och tittade på min stream. I love Butters. Jag älskar också Butters. Butters är bäst. Butters is the best. I really do like South Park. I haven't watched a lot of the later seasons. I think it's fun. Aw, thank you. I might do more of these streams. This is a lot of fun. Maybe paint other miniatures as well. Like, I'm never gonna play 40k, but I am very satisfied with this color scheme. I had a lot of fun. I really appreciate the raids, both from Rune Car and from Totora. Oh, I had pets. Thank you, third party. I really appreciate it. You guys made my day a lot better because I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't even sure I was gonna stream. I was having pressure on my chest, anxiety pressure. I was generally not in a great state of mind, but now I'm feeling really good. Feeling really good about it. I'm happy. Aw, thank you. I really appreciate it. And massive thanks to Snarky for all the gift subs. You are amazing. You are so cool. If you're still here, thank you so much for the gift subs. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Polly. I hope I will feel better. I think it'll be fine. Aw, Tutora, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I want to talk with you guys about painting for hours too. I'm definitely doing more painting streams, doing more craft streams. Did you guys know I knitted my own? I said that, right? I knitted my own. Snarky, come on, thank you. That's really sweet. What the hell? What the heck? Thank you. I really appreciate it. Snarky, come on, stop. Thank you so much for giving a gift sub to Polly and to Mon. I really appreciate it. Thank you. You are way too nice. Way too nice, Snarky. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something you're not allowed to show anyone else, okay? I have to download it from Discord. So let me get that. I'm gonna show you guys something really cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, there's even more, but I can't show you guys that now. Okay, I'm gonna show you something cute. Let me save this image. Thank you so much, Snarky. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hold on, let me we'll name this picture. Okay, and we're gonna stonks, and we're gonna call it Whoop. And here we go. Downloads. Ta-da! Ta-da! A very good friend of mine is working on a model that will be coming very soon. But this is all you get to see for now. It's very cute. I'm very happy about the mouth. I love the frog mouth. Yes, this is a model that's being worked on. It's a chibi model. I'm super excited for it, and I love to show it, guys. Thank you so much. This has been really I feel very happy. I am very thankful to everyone who came by. I super appreciate you guys. This will unfortunately only be my only stream this week. I don't really have time to. I'm gonna hide this one, so no, you guys are special. You got to see this. No one else can see it. I will be streaming normally. Oh my god, Snarky, stop! You're giving 10 gift subs? No, stop! Oh my god. Thank you. I really appreciate Snarky. Stop. That's so sweet of you. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is... Wow. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. I really don't know what to say. Aw, thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming 3 times next week, probably. This week is very busy in general, so unfortunately, this is gonna be the only stream this week. You're the frog gang now. Thank you so much. Wow, I am. I am so happy. I'm gonna take some high-res photos of these guys, so we can see them better. I will have to sell another kidney. Aw, no, don't sell your other kidney. You're all in the frogregation now. You're all frogs. You're so cool. You're so cool. I really appreciate you all so much. And let's see who we're gonna be raiding. Let's see if there's someone we can raid. Let's see here. I wish I could speak as softly English as I speak Swedish, because I do. Det känns som att svenskan är lite mjukare. Inte lika hård. Språket är lite snällare. Lite mjukare, lite finare. Don't worry, I had to eat grass and dirt. No, Snarky, you gotta take care of yourself. Thank you so much for the competition. I already feel way better. I already feel so much better. Thank you so much. We are gonna raid Frogla. Aw, thank you, third party love. Thank you so much. Who are we raiding? You know who we're gonna raid? We're gonna raid Dorian Knox. Dorian Knox is cool. Dorian Knox is amazing, and here comes the Frogregation raid. Thank you again so much. I wrote frogregation, right? Stonks. So thank you again, everyone, so much. I hope you're gonna have a great evening, and I'm gonna post the pictures on my Twitter very soon, same as my Steam username. Thank you, everyone. Have a really nice evening. I was listening to It Came from the 80s, a very nice retro darkwave horror synth special. Good night, everyone. Okay, you go eat. Good night. Good night, everyone. Take care. Have a really nice one. And Kaeru. Bye.